Another beautiful day in the South Okanagan, and what better way to spend it than inside the South Okanagan Event Center as we wrap up the 2022 Young Stars Classic in Penticton. Brendan Batchelor alongside Cam Moon will have the call of today's game between the Canucks and the Oilers for you coming up in a matter of moments. And what way to end the weekend here, Cam. Two undefeated teams going head-to-head.
Yeah, very competitive clubs. We've seen through the opening of this tournament. And I would expect, I look at the top two lines on both sides, they've been good. And going head-to-head, I think will be a lot of fun for the fans, for us up here in the booth, and for all the scouts and the management on both sides to evaluate their talent going into regular training camp.
As we take a look first at the lineup for the Vancouver Canucks for this afternoon's tilt. 5 changes. Artur Silovs comes back in between the pipes. We'll talk about him a little bit more in a minute. Jackson Vandeleast and Matt Anderson draw in on the back end. Max Nemesnikov, Connor Lockhart in up front. And a couple of notable players to watch who contributed to the offense in yesterday's win over Winnipeg. Danila Klimovich had a goal and an assist. A beautiful pass to spring Tristan Nielsen in alone on goal in front, as Klimovich and Nielsen combined to stake the Canucks to a 3-1 lead in the second period. It's been a strong weekend for the former Vancouver Giant, Tristan Nielsen, looking to build on that production for this afternoon's game. As the Canucks, we mentioned, 2-0. Winnipeg yesterday, they beat Calgary 3-0 on Friday. The Oilers also undefeated coming into this game, Cam.
Yeah, and I expected this team to be competitive going into this tournament. Given they've got 4 first-round picks on this squad, and they absolutely have done that. And the goaltending's been very good, whether it's been Olivier Rodrigue or whether it's been Ryan Fanti. And when you've got a guy on the back end like Philip Broberg that has played NHL games, that most certainly helps as well. So, yeah, we expected the Oilers to be a very competitive club. I see Ty Nash draws back into the lineup here this afternoon, and same with Darian Keelb on the back end and Noah Dory. So those guys hadn't played the second game but will play here in the third game. But this is an Edmonton Oilers rookie team that the top line's been a big part of it. James Hamblin, who was able to earn himself an NHL contract in the spring after 2 years in the American League. He played in the WHL with the Medicine Hat Tigers, had 5 seasons under his belt there, and has worked so hard to get that NHL contract, 35 points last year in the American Hockey League, and just does every aspect of the game right. Undersized, but tons of effort, lots of skill. He's an Edmonton product and has done so well at the American League level. And maybe this season, maybe we'll see an opportunity or two at the NHL level. And on the back end, Maximus Warner, who plays with the Moose Jaw Warriors in the Western Hockey League. He's come a long way in a short amount of time. 7th round pick of the Oilers in 21. His role has increased during his time in Moose Jaw. He has been paired with Philip Broberg here so far, has shown a lot of poise and just a calmness on the back end. I've been really impressed with Warner so far here in the tournament.
Strong representation from the Western Hockey League here this weekend. And as both of us are Western Hockey League alums ourselves, we have to bring that up, don't we, Cam?
I think we do. Absolutely we do. Yeah, that's good to see all the Western League guys out here.
As the teams have made their way onto the ice, and we'll get to the starting goaltenders in a few moments. The Canucks in their home blue for the first time this weekend. The Oilers wearing their white uniforms. And you talked about Philip Broberg. Obviously, he's got some great National Hockey League experience, as much NHL experience really as any player that's been here this weekend. And there's going to be an opportunity for him going into training camp for the Oilers, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. He has got a chance to stay with the team. And quite honestly, I'd be surprised if he doesn't. When he came up last year, he was able to handle the speed, the pressure, you name it. 23 games, there was injury issues, and that's going to happen over the course of the year. You're not going to just roll 6-7 defensemen the whole season, and if you do, you're incredibly fortunate, because there are bumps and bruises and injuries over the course of a year. But I thought he filled in and played well when was given the opportunity.
It's the Canucks and the Oilers. Here's public address announcer Joey Pitt.
The South Okanagan Event Center recognizes the Penticton Indian Band and the traditional ancestral unceded territory of the Okanagan Syilx people, whose lands we live, learn, and do our work. Fans, at this time, we ask that you rise if you're able and remove your hats to observe a moment of silence in recognition of the National Day of Mourning in honor of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's Day of Rest. Thank you. Fans, we ask that you please remain standing and join Kelty Matthews in the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for
and with the anthem in the books, it's just about time to drop the puck. The Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers. Artur Silovs gets his second start of the Young Stars Classic for Vancouver. Stopped all 24 shots he faced in a 3-0 win over the Calgary Flames on Friday. At the other ice for the Edmonton Oilers, it's Ryan Fanti who goes in this game, Cam. He made 21 saves and gave up 2 goals in the 3-2 win over Winnipeg on Friday.
Yeah, signed out of college hockey last year. Fanti got in 1 game in the American League last season with Bakersfield and looking to start his pro career.
Welcome to our listeners tuning in on Sportsnet 650 Radio in Vancouver. For your benefit, the Canucks are in the blue uniforms with a white and green trim. They'll skate from left to right in the first period. The Oilers in their road whites with blue and orange trim will skate from right to left. It's Niels Oman and James Hamblin to contest the opening faceoff at center ice. The final game of the 2022 Young Stars Classic from Penticton is underway as the Oilers win the opening faceoff and Maximus Warner dumps it into the Vancouver zone.
I'm looking forward to the matchup between these 2 top lines. I thought Vancouver's top line yesterday was amazing, and there's a lot of finish there with Baines, Carlson, Oman. And for Edmonton on the other side, you got a couple of first-round picks with Holloway and Bourgault, and James Hamblin, who we talked about earlier, getting an NHL contract last spring.
Oman and Hamblin again on the draw outside the Vancouver blue line. It comes back to Jet Wu. He'll go D to Quinn Schmiemann on the far side. Tried to clear it up the boards, but sent it into the Vancouver bench. Just 17 seconds into the first period, no score in the game.
Edmonton Oiler bench getting themselves settled in here this afternoon. Dylan Holloway, Oiler first rounder, played college hockey at Wisconsin in the Alberta Junior League with Okotoks. 22 points in 33 games in Bakersfield last year.
Canucks tried to clear off the faceoff, but the puck comes to Holloway. Right circle, backhander, he hit the goalpost. Beats Silovs past the stick side, but it clangs off the iron. And the Oilers have the first great scoring chance of the game as the Canucks clear.
Yeah, Holloway just taking that to the front of the net. Got a really good backhand, tough shot to pick up for Silovs.
Here he comes again, in on the left wing, tight angle shot. Silovs made the save and leaned a little bit too heavily on his post. Knocked it off its moorings. as Dylan Holloway makes an impression on this game just 43 seconds in.
Well, Seeloff's is getting called upon early, but it was a hard backhand. It almost looked like that was up on end when he let it go, making it even more difficult to pick up for the netminder after it nails off the post. And yeah, it's Seeloff's had to get into it right away, and making the save tight to the post, took the post off, but he was in the right spot.
Defensive zone face-off win for Vancouver. Chad Nychuk gets it ahead for Chase Waters. And now for Tristan Nielsen. He'll go rink wide to the near boards. Matt Anderson back into the Vancouver lineup today after featuring in the win over Calgary on Friday. Did not play in the win against the Winnipeg Jets yesterday as the Canucks go offside at the Oiler line. And Chase Waters has been a nice addition here for the Canucks. Played in Abbotsford last year, got into 60 games, 18 points, but has really been a leader on this Young Stars roster here over this weekend, and you wouldn't be surprised at that, Cam, as a 3-year captain of the Saskatoon Blades.
Yeah, and he did 5 years total with the Blades and did a lot for them, and not just leadership, but whether it be offense, play well defensively. Chase Waters was an all-round player at the WHL level and is at the pro level too.
Nychuk, left wing across the Oiler line. Carries to the right corner, being leaned on by Darian Keeld, who is able to separate him from the puck, and the Oilers turn back to center. Philip Angeris in on the left wing, trying to get around Nielsen, who knocked him down. Angeris goes heavily into the end boards. Play allowed to continue as they'll battle for it in the near corner. Now Dory with a shot from the line. Seeloff's with a right pad save. Rebound in front. Angeris sent it wide as he beat a couple of Canuck defenders to the front of the net, and Vancouver ices the puck here as the Oilers' forecheck has caused the Canucks some issues early on in this game.
It's been very aggressive. Reed Schaefer, the rest of the Oiler team has been aggressive with that forecheck. I like the quick shot from the point by Dory, just put it towards the net. A little bit of a rebound from Seeloff's, and the Oilers get opportunity from it. And it looks like they'll be putting a lot towards the goal. Seeloff's may have a busy afternoon.
Face off to his right in the Vancouver zone, won by Hamblin. Back to Broberg, left point. Now for Bourgault, off the left wall, try to backhand centering feed intended for Holloway. Intercepted nicely by Chad Nychuk, and Danila Klimovich gets it out to center. Bourgault for the Oilers, fires it back in. Hamblin in pursuit on the forecheck. Nychuk plays it loose around the near wall. Canuck Liepert goes after Broberg in a battle on the boards, but the Oilers keep it in. Bourgault, right corner. Far point, long shot. Stopped by Seeloff's off the stick of Maximus Warner at the right point. Warner holds the puck in again, finishes his check on Cole Shepherd along the boards. Now Holloway winding behind the net, wraparound chance. It went through the crease and out the near side. Connor Lockhart fans on a clearing attempt, and the Oilers' top line continues to make the Canucks play in their own end. Now Shepherd with a foray across the Edmonton line for Lockhart right side, tried to center for Shepherd. Pass went off his skates, and it's gathered by Noah Dory in his own zone. 3 minutes gone, first period. No score. The Canucks and the Oilers in the final game of the 2022 Young Stars Classic. We can call it the championship game if we want, I guess, since both of these teams are undefeated.
Yeah, you're right. It's all on the line this afternoon.
Dory with a drive from outside the Vancouver line. Held out by Seeloff's, played it to the corner. Mark Gatcomb after it, had 2 goals in the win yesterday over Winnipeg. And rims it around to the near side for Jet Wu. Wu clears it into Edmonton territory. Kesselring drops near corner for Dory. Centering pass bounced off the skate of Philp, and Rigash holds in for Gatcomb's side of the net, and that's the first stop of the afternoon for Ryan Fanti between the pipes for Edmonton. Ty Nash, left wing at center, turned it over. Here's Gatcomb back in across the Oiler line, trying to split the defense, lost the puck. Oman got it to the near side for Nemesnikov, whose shot tipped off the outside of the net. Now Nemesnikov again, right circle. Turned the puck over, and a stretch pass from Kesselring didn't find Philp, but icing's waved off, and Schmiemann has to go back to it.
Oman can do things at high pace, and that opportunity was absolutely high pace.
Now here's Philp with a centering feed. Chance in on goal, and a great save by Seeloff's on Petrov in alone on net. Matvei Petrov sprung clean in on goal.
It's a good opportunity for Petrov. 90 points last year in the OHL with North Bay.
Now Linus Karlsson, right wing into the Oilers zone, try to move to the slot, lost the puck. Oman recovers it in the right corner. for Carlson again. Back to the near point for Canuck Liepert. Over to the left side. Puck centered off the far wall by Jackson Vandeleest. And the Oilers clear. Canuck Liepert driving back in on the right wing. Tied up along the boards in a battle with Philip Angeris, and he gets it out to center. Left wing for Jake Chason. His shot was blocked. And Arshdeep Bains starts the breakout from inside his own line. Couldn't quite clear as Angeris on the back check stripped him of the puck. And the Oilers again continue to give the Canucks fits in their own zone. Hard-working board battle on the near side wall. Klimovich able to pry it free. He'll float it out to center. And Wanner's back to it in his own end for Edmonton. Wanner, left wing to Schaefer to the Vancouver line. Centering pass picked off by Jet Wu. And here's Chase Waters with a burst of speed up the right wing. Waters forced wide by Broberg through a shot. Rebound in front. What a save by Fanti on a grade A chance from Klimovich. Wide open at the left circle. And Ryan Fanti across to his right. Easily the best chance the Canucks have had thus far in the game, and Fanti was equal to the task.
All started with Jet Wu. Created the turnover just inside the Canucks blue line. Started the rush up ice. And exactly why you put it on net from anywhere. It's a bad angle shot. That's not dangerous, but the rebound is.
Now Dory with a nice interception at center for Hamblin. Try to pass to the back door. Couldn't quite get it through to Bourgault, who was going to the net down the right wing. And Klimovich digs it loose again for Wu on the near side. He'll clear it all the way down. Icing against the Canucks, 6:10 into the first period. No score between Vancouver and Edmonton.
A great opportunity for the Canucks. Ryan Fanti had to be awfully sharp, but Jet Wu just saw it in the WHL with Moose Jaw in Calgary, seeing it now at the next level, and he started that whole rush, and just a bad angle shot results in an opportunity. Big opportunity, too. Heads up play by Waters to put it on goal. And put it on goal in a place where you'll get a rebound. And if you shoot it for the logo, you're probably not getting a rebound.
And instead, Klimovich nearly gave Vancouver the 1-0 lead. He's got it now at his own blue line. Spins off a check, winding in traffic. And now Klimovich carries left wing to the Oiler line. Nice centering feed. Here's a clean chance in on goal. Fanti with another great save, this time on Justin Gill. After the great setup by Klimovich, who's really shown his vision and playmaking ability this weekend. Cole Shepard, left wing in the Oiler end, dumps it to the far corner. Darian Kielb will throw it around to the near side. Canuck Liepert holds in at the right point with a long wrist shot that's waffle boarded to the far wall by Fanti. Now Shepard cycling along the boards. Sent into the slot for Gill. Another good chance. This time he missed the net on the one-timer. Set up by Lockhart off the far side. Another long shot, this time off the stick of Alex Canuck Liepert. And the Canucks trying to turn the momentum here. Ryan Fanti's had a little bit more work over the last couple of minutes.
Most certainly has. Fanti able to play college hockey last year at Minnesota Duluth. They're called upon as Gill gets a clean look. And Justin Gill had 46 points last year with Sherbrooke in the Quebec Major Junior League. Had an opportunity from the side as well, but that one right to the front of the net. Couple of good chances, misses from the slot, but Gill with glorious opportunities. Fanti aggressive though, up near the top of the crease. He's taking a lot away right now.
Native of Thunder Bay, signed by the Oilers back in March. Ryan Fanti getting his second opportunity to man the crease in Penticton. Broberg in his own end for the Oilers. Passes left wing to center. Tipped to the Vancouver line by Reed Schaefer. Jet Wu back to it under pressure from Schaefer. Is forced to the corner but leaves for Vandeleest behind the net. Vandeleest threw it up the middle. It trickles out over the blue line and Wanner dumps it back in.
Vandeleest, a big rig out there. Finished up his WHL career with the Red Deer Rebels, coming over in a deal last season with the Calgary Hitmen, trying to secure himself a contract. I know he's also looked at a few schools, U Sports as well.
6'6", 225, Vandeleest from Kelowna. His first appearance of the weekend in this game. As Linus Karlsson does a good job to force a turnover at center, but there's James Hamblin following up, trying to dump it in, and it deflected out of play. And Vandeleest will be popular in this building too. He did appear in a handful of games for the Penticton V's a number of years ago as well.
So he does have local knowledge of the building. And what a wonderful building it is. The South Okanagan Event Center where the Penticton Vs play in the BC Hockey League. It's an amazing facility, absolutely perfect for this event.
An event that we had to wait too long to have again. And hopefully it'll be here for many years to come. Here's a chance for the Canucks, though. Oman with a close play at the blue line as Baines dropped the puck to him, and it threw him offside as he was having trouble settling it anyway, and he's not happy about that call as the faceoff will come out into the neutral zone.
It was awfully close. We don't review these things, but no, it was awfully close. Oman would have been sprung up the middle. Arshdeep Baines, who led the WHL in scoring with 112 points last year, making the move and making that play right at the blue line.
Now here's Hamblin, centering pass for Holloway that was deflected behind him, and Baines stood up by Kemp as he dumps it in from the red line. Keel behind his own goal for the Oilers, then to Hamblin far side and up the boards for Xavier Bourgault. He'll clear the danger, but Canuck Liepert tries to drive back in on the right wing. Hamblin finishes his check, and now here's a chance up ice for Bourgault. Left wing across the Vancouver line, trying to get around Waters. He lost the puck, and it trickles in on Artur Silovs. 9:01 elapsed in the first period. No score. The Canucks and the Oilers in Penticton.
Well, both teams, a good pace. I mean, the pace has been good. I expected it to be. I don't know if they're handing out a trophy when this thing's over as to who wins it, but whether you do or not, I don't think yet they are. Anytime you're going to play, it's going to be competitive. Whether these teams are both 2-0 or 0-2 doesn't matter. Players are playing to maybe get a contract or get a look at a main camp, whatever it is. It's important for everybody on the ice to have their best game.
Quick shot right off the draw for Jake Chason, sent wide of the net. Now here's Klimovich with a partial break. In on goal down the right wing, denied by Fanti with the left pad, as Klimovich wasn't able to elevate it. And again, it's Ryan Fanti being called upon to make a save on a grade A scoring chance.
It was. Klimovich was being pestered a bit by Maximus Warner. I made him shoot it maybe a little quicker than he wanted to, but I've been really impressed with Klimovich over the course of the tournament. Anytime you play in the American League as an 18-year-old, as he did last year, that's got to be difficult. That's a huge jump. And for him, this season coming up, I'm sure he's going to take another big step in his development.
Not only played in the AHL as an 18-year-old, but made the jump from the Belarusian Junior League, which might be the biggest jump or one of the biggest jumps you could make in the world of hockey.
A quantum leap in hockey.
And add to that the fact that he didn't speak much of the language when he arrived.
Doesn't help.
But he's actually done media availabilities over the last couple of days. Stayed in Vancouver through the summer, took English lessons 3 days a week. And I was joking with some other members of the Vancouver media that if you threw us into Belarus and asked us to do an interview.
Well, exactly. I can't imagine how difficult that is. You see it in the CHL all the time with import players coming over. Good for him.
As we got a penalty here against the Canucks, Fanti was charging to the bench. Cross-checking is the signal, and so the Oilers will get the first opportunity on the power play this afternoon. And it looks like the guilty party coming across here is Tristan Nielsen.
I did see earlier in the tournament Tristan Nielsen was mic'd up for the first game. That was good stuff. I didn't realize he was as funny a young man as he is. There was some good comedy over the course of the game from Tristan Nielsen, who had 11 points in Abbotsford last year. Played in the Western League with Calgary and Vancouver, and he brought a lot of jump to the game, I thought.
He's in the box right now as the Oilers will go to the power play. They're 0 for 6 thus far over the weekend. And we'll start that power play in just a matter of moments. Just past the midway mark, first period. No score. The Oilers and the Canucks as Nielsen goes to the box.
Scale the Skaha Bluffs. Barrel down the twisted trails. Paddle through those serene waters. Penticton has it all and more. Stroll down to the farmer's market, sample the local bounty, and revel in our natural beauty. Penticton, the mecca of adventure, the place for everyone. Go to visitpenticton.com and plan your trip now.
Penticton, BC offers so much to see and do. Leave the keys and explore on foot, by bike, or paddling for an experience that's almost fuel-free. Out in the fresh Okanagan air, not only are you saving money, you're feeling better with exercise and the peace of mind that comes through responsible and sustainable travel. Feel the freedom of exploring Penticton fuel-free. Almost. Learn more at visitpenticton.com.
Oilers will have a chance to head to the power play here with Tristan Nielsen in the box for the Canucks, and Dylan Holloway hoping to try and cash in with a power play goal for the first time this weekend for the Oilers.
Yes, Holloway, Bourgault, Hamblin. The top line will be out there. Petrov will also be out. Broberg on defense for the Oilers.
Regish will take the draw for the Canucks on the PK. Canuck, Liepert, and Anderson out there on the back end as well. Alongside Mark Gatcomb. Got into 6 games with AHL Abbotsford last year. Did Gatcomb, having a couple of goals yesterday, as mentioned. And we'll see if the Oilers can turn some of their early first period pressure into a goal on this man advantage. But it's the Canucks that win the draw. Anderson clears to center. Gatcomb, shorthanded, was after it at the red line. And instead, after missing the puck, pursues Broberg in on the forecheck. Canuck, Liepert after it at center. Chipped it ahead. Broberg carries into the Canuck end and dumps it to the right corner. Anderson back to it. Cleared around to the near side. Petrov takes it down. And the Oilers will set up on their power play. Matvei Petrov to the line for Philip Broberg. Over to the right side for Xavier Bourgault. Back to Petrov, left wing. At the hash marks, drops to Broberg again. Across to Bourgault. Back to Broberg. Right side, Petrov, one-timer right on target. Seelovs was square, tracked the puck well, and made the save. 9:09 rather, left in the first period. No score, Vancouver and Edmonton.
Good play by Seelovs to come across like he did, and an imperative that he doesn't give up the rebound on the shot by Petrov. All with Hamblin right in front of the net. I don't know if Petrov got all that he wanted on that, but it was pretty close. Seelovs closing up all the holes, making sure there was nothing left in front of the goal.
Still more than a minute remaining in the Oiler power play as Jackson Vandalist clears down the ice off the faceoff.
Twice now, Canucks have won the faceoff.
Now Oman on the forecheck, forces a turnover. Chase Waters with a one-time chance from the slot, set up by Oman out of the far corner, but he elevated it over the net.
Faceoff so important in power plays. Canucks, off the start of it, were able to get it down the ice. Took the Oilers 25 seconds to set up, and they're getting an opportunity from winning a faceoff.
Bourgault back in across the Vancouver line, lost his footing in the right corner. And again, Jet Wu able to slap it all the way down. Fanti out of the goal to handle, stretches it left wing to center for Dylan Holloway. Holloway into the Vancouver zone, drops right wing for Jake Chason, stood up by Justin Gill. Got it free to Holloway in the slot, he mishandled it though. And here's Cole Shepard scampering to the red line, hit hard into the boards by Maximus Wanner into the Oiler end, but got it below the goal line nonetheless with just a dozen seconds left in this Oiler power play now. Keeled, left wing to the red line for Edmonton. Dumps it in around the end boards. Chason couldn't handle the puck on the far wall. Nielsen is now out of the box as the Canucks clear the zone again, and the Oilers are 0 for 1 on the power play.
Great penalty kill for the Canucks. Only gave up one shot against, and that was the one-timer by Petrov.
Matt Anderson to center, right wing across the Edmonton line, lost the puck to Noah Dory. Dory got it ahead for Noah Philp. He'll clear it in deep, and the Oilers get a partial change with the Canucks trying to regroup. Here's Nielsen with a burst of speed again, up the right wing, collided heavily with Dory, who got the worst of that exchange, and then Nielsen on the forecheck lays a big hit behind the net on Ty Nash as well. Nielsen, left wing. Back to the line, Nychuk shot through traffic, sailed wide past the stick side of Fanti. And now Klimovich and Dory getting into it in front of the net as the Oilers will set up their breakout. And carry back to center ice. Dory lost his footing in his own zone. Lost the puck too, and here come the Canucks up ice. Linus Karlsson left wing. Spins away from Dino Kambites, goes to the right side for Alex Canuck-Liepert. To the end boards for Niels Oman. Oman can't find the puck. It's bounced past Vandalist at the blue line and out to center as Ty Nash was able to clear. Nash, of course, the son of former NHLer Tyson Nash. As Karlsson's long shot is deflected out of play across the Oiler line. Still no score with 6:17 left in the first this afternoon in Penticton.
Well, you say Ty Nash, yeah, his father Tyson Nash. I was looking at, and Tyson played in the NHL, but played in the WHL with the Kamloops Blazers, 3-time Memorial Cup winner, 92, 94, 95. There's a lot of players out here whose fathers played in the WHL. Dino Kambites, his dad Jim, played in the Western League. Bruce Holloway, Jeremy Schaefer, Mike Dubinsky, Larry Wu, Jet Wu's father, who played, I remember, in Swift Current in Victoria. So a lot of WHL ties, not just with the players, but fathers as well.
Siblings, too, of course. Noah Philp's brother, Luke Philp, a longtime WHLer. Just to name an example.
Both played for the University of Alberta Golden Bears. Both signed pro contracts out of the University of Alberta.
Luke currently in the Blackhawks organization. As Reed Schaefer goes left wing to center. And it's played in across the Vancouver line by Hoff. Bourgault trying to hold in. Sends to the right circle for Holloway, driving the net. Forced wide by Matt Anderson, who finishes his check on him. On the end boards, Holloway keeps the puck back to the line. Long drive by Kemp. Might have been deflected. Bit of a change-up, but snagged by the glove hand of Seelovs nonetheless.
Holloway kept that play alive. Tough up against the end boards, but is able to stay with it, squeeze off of the check to get it back to the point for Kemp's shot. It was a bit of a change-up, but I was impressed with how Holloway keeps that alive on tenacity and speed to get it back to the point.
Kiel off the left wing, threw a puck to the net through traffic. Not sure if it got through on Seelovs as Bourgault tries to cut in on goal. Knocked down by Nychuk. Some of the Oiler fans in attendance were hoping for a penalty there. The officials will not oblige them. And Alex Canuck-Liepert has it for the Canucks. Cleared it all the way down. Icing's waved off, though. And Darian Kiel will carry up the near side. Kiel into the Vancouver zone. Dumps it behind the net. Bourgault first to it on the right wing. Wanted to shoot first time, but fanned on it. Niels Oman can't clear. And now Vandalist goes right wing to center for Connor Lockhart. Lockhart dumps it in as Kesselring steps up on him. Oilers able to clear. There's a big hit. Arshdeep Baines absolutely rocks the Oiler defender Jake Chason, and the Canucks are back in possession.
Baines, leading scorer in the WHL last year, 112 points, but there's a physical element to his game as well.
Here's Chason, right circle in the Vancouver zone. Shot deflected wide of the net. Now Dory from the line. Fires wide of the target. Baines on the back check. Gets it loose to Vandalist, who floats it high in the air. And out to center. 3:55 left in the first period. Shots even at 7 apiece. No score between the Canucks and the Oilers in the final game of the 2022 Young Stars Classic from Penticton. Here's Chase Waters leading the rush to center. Right wing for Tristan Nielsen, who dumps it in. Warner behind his own net for the Oilers. Played it around the far wall. Klimovich trying to knock it down. Lost a battle with Dino Kambites as the puck squirts free to Reed Schaefer, but Klimovich sticks with it and keeps the puck in the offensive zone. To the line for Wu. Slap pass to the far circle, looking for Tristan Nielsen, but a good active stick from Maximus Warner deflected the puck out of play.
It had Nielsen coming out of that left wing corner, and Jet Wu so good at seeing everything out there. Arshdeep Baines with the big hit and putting the pressure on the Edmonton Oilers. That was Jake Chason that he had to take a hit to make a play. He did get it out, but certainly knew he was going to take one, and he did.
Warner, far corner for the Oilers, around to Broberg near side. He's hit hard by Tristan Nielsen. isn't afraid to finish his check either. But the Oilers are back up ice as Kambeitz throws it to the net off the left wing. Then a rebound. Seelovs was down and out. Quick thinking by Reed Schaefer to fire it right back to the crease. Canucks are able to clear.
He almost had the bank shot off of Seelovs.
Jet Wu. Pass to center for Connor Lockhart off the Vancouver bench. Dumps it in. Darian Keel back to it in the corner. Got it ahead for Phil Kemp. And now to center for Reed Schaefer. Schaefer poke check by Nychuk at the Canuck blue line. Dumped it in. And Matt Anderson back onto it in his own zone. Trying to stretch pass. Nemesnikov missed it, but icing was waved off anyway. And Regish holds in right side. Nychuk at the near point. Into the corner for Lockhart, protecting it from Keel, who knocks him down into the end boards. And out come the Oilers to center. Hoff on the left wing. Try to drop pass for Ty Nash, who wasn't in position to receive it, but keeps it in the Vancouver zone anyway. Nychuk ahead for Lockhart, now to center for Anderson, gains the red line, dumps it in. Kesselring stepped up on him as the Canucks complete a wholesale change.
Well, the physical element of this game is ramped up in the last 5-6 minutes. We had great pace off the start, opportunities on both sides, and now both teams really taking the body.
Van der Leest fires it in on Fanti from center. Dory back to it in the corner. Puck is sent to the line. Van der Leest missed it. Here's Bourgault with a burst of speed trying to get around him. Does beat him to the puck, plays it to the corner. And Van der Leest pins him to the end boards. Bourgault, slippery character, able to wriggle free and get the puck loose to James Hamblin. The Oilers' top line looking to cash in late in the period. Shot for the line. Fired to the net by Kesselring. It knocked the stick out of Seelov's hand. Made the save. Doesn't have his stick, though, as play continues in the Vancouver zone. Hamblin to the right point. Shot thrown to the goal by Warner. Seelov's held it out. Wasn't able to cover, though. Under a minute left in this first period.
It's not how you draw it up at the summer goalie school, but he did keep it out of the net.
And now Van der Leest is able to clear so Seelovs can recover his stick with just 40 seconds left in the first period. Linus Karlsson picks off a pass of the Oiler line. Karlsson had a give and go with Oman trying to cut to the goal. Fanned on his shot, though. And Warner behind his own net will float it off the glass near side and out to center. Knocked down by Petrov, gave it away to Oman. Thought it was offside, but it was Petrov played it back into his own end, so the officials let play go. Now here's Linus Karlsson trying to wind to the goal. Took a slash in the hands as he was driving the net. And late in this first period, the Canucks will get their first power play of the afternoon with, I believe it's Jake Chason going to the box.
Oilers got hemmed in a bit. Linus Karlsson is able to create the penalty on a nifty move. Just some quick hands. Got him to the middle of the ice. Chason had to give him the stick, and Vancouver gets a late power play. Good work by Karlsson, though. Good hands, quick hands.
Scrambled face-off with just 10 seconds left in the first. Oilers win it, and Kesselring will take it behind his own goal before clearing it down the ice. That'll do it for the opening period. And as the Canucks will have 1 minute and 48 seconds left on that power play with fresh ice to start the second. Edmonton outshoots Vancouver 10-8 in the first, but neither side has been able to find the back of the net.
Both goalies played well. They had to be sharp in that first period. Both teams getting physical in the last 6-7 minutes of that first period. It was a good pace. These look like two teams that are 2-0 coming into this one.
As the clubs head to their respective dressing rooms, opportunities on both sides in this opening 20 minutes. And we'll see if either club can break the deadlock when we come back for the second period in a matter of minutes. Before that, though, let's take a look at Canucks development camp behind the scenes.
Everybody has their different path to get to the NHL. It's not a sprint. It's not about playing one game. The coaching staff in Abbotsford and our development staff is going to help you, guide you to become an NHL player. There's not going to be any excuses for not. We have all the resources here. and they're gonna help you guys if you're willing to sacrifice what it takes to become a player. Every day, every single day, you guys have something to prove. So take the advantage here, being around this environment, have fun, and make sure you guys ask a lot of questions because we have a lot of quality people here. Again, enjoy this week. Very welcome to the Canucks.
For us, obviously, it's to get our players in one room together, allow them to get to know us as an organization, get to know the resources and the staff that we have here, and it's a chance for us to get to know them, their strengths and weaknesses, and be able to instill some of our organizational values and foundations into the players while they're here that they can take with them within the rest of the summer and heading into the seasons coming in the fall. So, you know, it's about balance of the education and the evaluation at one time. We want them to leave here with a plan and an understanding of what we expect from them over the next 2 months, and obviously them understanding that they've got the resources that we have here to help them do that. I've said to this group is that before they can be a part of our future, I want them to understand the history of the organization, and I think it helps their investment into the organization when they understand what's gone on. There's been a lot of, whether it's teams and players, managers, trainers, coaches, you name it, that have really made the Canucks organization what it is to this day, and I want the players to understand that and feel that.
On and off your stick, the shots. On and off your stick, no catch and release. Keep them tight, keep them tight. If you're just moving your hands, this move is worthless. You gotta move your shoulders, move your weight. If you're just moving your hand, you're not gonna fool anybody.
And then now you're escaping, you know what I mean? You're doing it quick, but sell that fake, sell that fake. So he bites, boom, now you're out of there. Just come here with an open mind. Be eager to learn. At the end of the day, we could give them as much information, as much awareness as possible. They gotta take this information, chew on it, and apply it, execute, bring it back to their junior teams, to their college teams, teams overseas. And then another thing too, there's so many great resources. There's a skill coach, skating coach, mental skills, there's a performance staff, all these great resources. They've met a lot of folks. We want them to know that there's a lot of people behind them, supporting them, that are gonna help them get to the next level.
Development camp kind of has a different feel to it. It's pretty cool to be here and experience this with all the coaches, and the staff is amazing. I mean, you got 2 Hall of Famers out there. You got Mike Commissary, Higgy, and RJ, and all these guys like Yogi. It's pretty cool to be able to pick their brains and have fun out there with them.
We've built a group that allows these players to have every resource at their fingertips, whether it's mental performance and skills and skating, the off ice, the on ice. I think we've covered the block with them, and so it's important for us to know that in this crucial time for us as an organization and wanting to head the right way, it's all going to happen through these young kids.
Looking good, looking like you're having fun.
Oh yeah.
Keep it going.
Nothing better than playing hockey.
You're right. It's a fun way to spend your day. No backs towards the play. When you're turning up here, can you open up and watch the game, or watch the play?
Yeah.
If you're the D-man, I'm you right now. You're coming in here, like hey, here. Be in front of him. No, not here. Like be in front of him. Make sense? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if you're in front of him and you were in front of him, coming in here, you open up like, then he's here. Getting the puck from you. You're a good player. Keep it going.
If you bump into your partner, now come up through the middle of the ice. Take that couple strides, No, you don't have a problem with that. But that D-man, right? He's going. Yeah. He's coming, almost activating.
It's a good drill, like all these drills today that we're doing all this stuff by the boards, right? All the tight turns.
Yeah.
Like what I always tell you, right? As you're coming out of these, make sure your feet are moving, right? Like that's gonna be, as soon as you make a tight turn, like in your brain, move your feet, right? All these things, like these are good drills for you, right? Yeah. Getting all the prospects together is, the first time in a number of years that we've been able to pull everyone together organizationally. So some of these things that we do, the cooking classes, the escape room, kind of let them do their own thing, see which guys step up and become leaders and lead the group, and it's pretty rewarding to see that.
beautiful and delicious dessert. So first we have Italian biscotti with hazelnuts, cranberries, and some orange zest. And then we got chocolate pate topped with raspberries and mango.
Okay, you guys are going to be broken up into teams, okay? You have to go up the mountain as a team, and you have to travel together. When you get to the top, there's another stone up there, you stop your timer.
How many good days can you stack up on top of each other? So you have a good day, can you stack up another good day on top of that? Right? So think about that as you go back. Keep your focus small. Just worry about having a good day, doing the things you need to do, and then stack the good day on top of another good day, and see how long you can take that. All right. Other than that, really happy with the work, the attitude of you guys. You guys have been a pleasure to work with. So thank you.
The importance that we have as an organization on the development and their careers and what that means to us and to our future is everything. You build an organization through the draft. They've gotten the message how important it is that whether it's 3, 4, 5, as many as these guys can be a part of our future and wear a jersey one day down at Rogers Arena. But I think the group can feel that and an excitement from the staff and management, and it's kind of bleeding through that. So it's been a great week.
Whoever we draft, our goal is to get the best out of every single player, get them to get to the highest level that they can get. And that's what our guys are really going to be focused on, is every player that we put in our prospect pool, no matter if they're a first rounder or a 7th rounder, we want to get them to their potential and we want to support them in their growth. And that's where our group is really excited. The guys that we brought on, they're chomping at the bit to get going. It's really, good to see how it all comes to fruition in the next little while.
Here in Penticton at the South Okanagan Event Center, where the Canucks and the Oilers scoreless after one period of play. Cam Moon along with Keith Gretzky, Edmonton Oilers Assistant General Manager. Keith, how nice is it, first of all, to be back, having this event, being able to watch rookies, not only from the Oilers, but other teams, and be able to take part in the Young Stars tournament?
I think it's really important when you can have 4 teams together and you see your young kids and your prospects play against guys almost the same age, maybe a few guys older. It's a good evaluation, and to get ready for the main camp, I think it's important.
We're 2 games and 1 period in from the Oilers. Generally speaking, from what you've been able to watch so far, your thoughts?
I think the top line, of course, has played very well. Holloway's, has to stand out. You want him to make the Oilers, and when you're in this situation, you want to be forefront and take notice, and he's done a really good job of that. Hamlin's the same way, and I think Bourgault, for where he was a year ago to where he is this year, we're happy with the improvement.
Xavier Bourgault had such a long season last year, playing with Shawinigan. They win the Quebec Major Junior Championship. They go to the Memorial Cup. He played as long as you can possibly play.
Yeah.
They went well into June, just about the end of June before Memorial Cup was done. He took a little downtime, not playing at the World Juniors in the summer in Edmonton. Look at where he is from a year ago at training camp to now. How far do you think he's progressed?
Well, I think the best thing for him, he's healthy. When his season in the playoffs, he got injured, so he was going to miss some time, and he still played through it. And our doctors and ourselves talked with him and his representatives, and we thought it was best to, get healthy and be ready for training camp. It wasn't that, we're just because he played long, to miss Team Canada, but he was injured. He looks healthy. Yeah. I see him competing more. He's stronger on the puck, and that's what happens in a year. That's the biggest thing. We all want everybody to be ready yesterday, and it doesn't happen that way. You've been down to Bakersfield. Yep. You see the development in players, and that's the most important thing when you have a franchise like ours that has a chance to win. You need the young kids to be pushing, and here you're seeing that.
And speaking of that, and we talked about him in the show opening, James Hamblin, who came out of the WHL, played 5 years in Medicine Hat, put up really good numbers, gets an American League deal, gets a couple of seasons in Bakersfield, and now has gained an NHL deal. There's that progression. I mean, it's one thing you want to come out of junior, you want to get to the NHL, but you have to make that step. How important is it that those American League games and years and the time that they spend to improve? And it looks like Hamblin's taken advantage of that.
Well, the biggest thing for that too for us is that we tell players to come to our team and come to Bakersfield on an American League deal or whatever, and if you earn an NHL deal, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And I think James Hamblin and Vinny Desharnais are two prime examples that have played so well that we had to give it to them. We wanted to give it to them, a reward that they have a chance one day, and that's what it's about. And it doesn't matter if you're a first rounder or an American League guy on a tryout, anybody can play in the NHL.
Oh, we've talked about first round picks like Dylan Holloway, like Xavier Bourgault. We got Max Warner, who was a 7th round pick in 21. It plays in Moose Jaw in the WHL. And we saw him a little bit at rookie camp last year. And you look at what a difference a year makes. It looks like he's come a long way.
I think he has too. You're bang on. And again, that's why it's important to have these tournaments where you can see if the kids have made their steps and developing. And Mac's done a great job, and we're really happy for him and where he was and where he's at and where the potential is it's unknown. But if he keeps going in the right direction, that's what you want. He's big, he can skate, he can move the puck. I think he's been a surprise probably for some here how well he's played, and good on him. He's put the time in the summer.
He's been paired with Philip Broberg throughout this tournament, and I'm sure the recipient of Philip's experience. And I know Broberg, 23 games in the NHL last year. It looks like he's right on the cusp of an NHL career. I
agree totally. He's so strong in his legs and powerful. He can skate the puck up, and he moves the puck. He's not fancy. He's not a Paul Coffey, Bobby Orr type guy. He's just solid minute muncher is what we call him. And of course, they're young. They're going to learn. Yeah. They're going to make mistakes, but that's part of being young. And he had a good year last year, so it's going to be interesting to see him at training camp. Yeah, looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Keith. It's been a pleasure. Assistant General Manager of the Edmonton Oilers, runs the Bakersfield operation for the Oilers, Keith Gretzky. We thank him. As we go to a feature, Tristan Nielsen of the Vancouver Canucks was mic'd up recently.
Woobsy. Let's go, Krill. Let's go, Gats.
Let's get in there.
Woody.
Come on.
Shmimi. Penny. I might score with your stick tonight. Nizy. Let's go, Bainesy. Let's go, Ty. Clem. Clem. Feet. Out of here. All good, boys. All good. All good. Hey! Good hit! Oh, yeah! Oh, good play. Shot. I'll chase it down. Get it out. I'll chase it down. If you have time, I'll go up the wall and then cut to the middle, and you can probably hit me. Yep. Hey! Stick! Get some! Come on, Gatsy boy! You're 6'5", I'm 5'8". Get some! Get some! Get some. Who was it? Was it you?
No.
Was it you?
It was not Nielsen.
What's up, Peltz? What year are you?
Second year, bud.
Rebound. Face okay? What happened? What's up, bud? Get some! Yeah, baby! Yeah, Carlos! Let's go! Oh, my boy, Penny, reach! Good job, boys!
You on that back end.
Yeah, get some! Let's go boating! Let's rent a boat! Nice pass, Slim. Let's go, let's go. Get some, get some!
We're going to do the best we can to change the culture and get to a point where we have a consistent playoff team that can grow into a contender and give us a chance to get to the ultimate goal.
Anderson shoots, it's in!
We just want to be a team that is in your face all night long, playing aggressive and not sitting back.
Lets one go, scores!
Have a great young team that is hungry to win.
Now moves back towards Wilson, scores! Deep center's man, oh my goodness!
We're going to do what it takes to win.
The final day of the 2022 Young Stars Classic here in the beautiful South Okanagan on the shores of Okanagan Lake. As the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers are still scoreless through one period. Let's take a look back at the first period highlights. Really good chance early for Dylan Holloway. A backhander off the post past the stick side of Arturs Silovs. And Ryan Fanti was put to work at the other end of the ice. Good rebound opportunity by Danila Klimovich, who had a partial break again just a couple of moments later. Didn't get all of his shot, though. Good back pressure by the Oiler defender. Had some physicality shown throughout the first period as well. These two teams both 2-0. Looking to continue their undefeated runs here in Penticton. Brendan Batchelor and Cam Moon back with you here at the SOEC, and I imagine we'll see more of that coming up in the second.
I would think so. We had opportunities at both ends. We had great goaltending at both ends. We had these teams taking the body. The only thing we didn't have were goals, but that's largely due in part of the effort of the two netminders. Ryan Fanti in for Edmonton and Arturs Silovs in for Vancouver. I love the spirit. I love the pace of that first period. I expect more of the same. They're not mailing in this last game. No way, no how, no chance.
Canucks will start the second period with 1 minute and 48 seconds left on the power play after the penalty to Jake Chason in the closing moments of the first period. For the benefit of our listeners on Sportsnet 650, the Canucks are skating right to left wearing blue, the Oilers left to right wearing white. As Chase Waters lines up opposite James Hamblin at center ice, Hamblin wins the draw. Back to Michael Kesselring, and he'll dump it into the Vancouver zone. Good start to the PK for the Oilers to begin this second period. Quinn Schmiemann for the Canucks. Out to center, drops it to Arshdeep Bains, trailing the play. Carries to the Oiler line. Dumped it past Hamblin on the boards. Oman in to help out, but there's James Hamblin batting it out to center. And Schmiemann has to protect the puck from him, plays it into space near boards, but right to Phil Kemp, and he'll chop it into the Canuck end.
I've been impressed with Schmiemann throughout the tournament, the former Kamloops Blazer, the type of defenseman that he can play solid in his own end. He can add offensively. 54 points last year with Kamloops.
Baines in on the forecheck as the Canucks look to get set up now with under a minute remaining on their power play. Battle in the corner as the puck comes free to Schmiemann at the point. Now for Linus Karlsson, left wing. End boards Arshdeep Baines, goes to the right corner for Niels Oman, being hassled by Philip Broberg, and now Chase Waters gets it behind the net to Karlsson, and to Schmiemann at the line, back to Karlsson. Down low for Oman, in front for Waters, and a good active stick. I think it was Broberg that tipped it away. So the one-time chance never connected, and the Oilers clear again with just 25 seconds left in the Vancouver power play. Nychuk, right wing to center. Michael Rigash carries deep into the right corner, gets it around to Klimovich on the left wing. Danila Klimovich to Nychuk at the point. Right circle, Tristan Nielsen, low shot, stopped by Fanti. Big rebound for Klimovich, 2 rebounds. The first one was blocked, the second one hit a skate in front as well. As Danila Klimovich continues to create chances. Here he is again into the slot for Cole Shepherd with a low shot. Fanti stopped him with the right pad. Chason's out of the box as Shepherd gets another shooting chance off the left wing, and this time Fanti grabs it with the glove.
Well, Ryan Fanti having to deal with a lot of traffic. Good work by the Canucks to get that traffic in front of him. I think that first save, that was just an area save right there. I don't know how he was able to see it, but he was in the right spot. He had to look around Rigash, which was difficult, and the shot got through. It's good positioning by Fanti, and the Canucks with great work on that man advantage to put 4 shots on the Oiler net.
Credit Phil Kemp and Michael Kesselring for critical block shots on that sequence as well, on the secondary opportunities for Klimovich. Anderson to the Oiler line, left wing for Connor Lockhart. Centering pass was tipped to the corner by Darian Keeld, and they'll battle for it on the left wing side. Now it's dug free by Bourgault to center for Holloway. To the Vancouver line on right wing. Lockhart on the back check, laid a bump on him. Holloway forced to the corner, centers for Bourgault to the net, to the backhand, and there's Seeloffs to shut the door, sliding to his right. As Xavier Bourgault had a clean look in the middle, and we'll have some extracurriculars after the whistle.
This is another situation where Dylan Holloway wouldn't let the play die. He did the same thing in the first period he created an opportunity on something that looked like it was finished. This looked like it was finished, but Holloway wouldn't allow himself to be pushed off the puck. Jet Wu, give him a shot, but he stayed with it, moves it to Bourgault in front of the net to get that opportunity. But I love the ability of Holloway to stay with it, keep the play alive, give his club an opportunity to put it to the net. Seeloffs makes another good save, and we get some coincidentals on the back end of it.
Wu and Holloway in the box, and they've got 2 minutes up on each side, so we'll play 4-on-4. A little bit more open ice. .235 into the second. No score, the Canucks and the Oilers in the final game at the 2022 Young Stars Classic. Philip Broberg in his own zone for the Oilers with some extra room to skate into here at 4-on-4. Carries up the left wing into the Vancouver end. Broberg behind the net, out the right wing side into the slot for Petrov. One-time shot was blocked by Vandalist. Karem's out to center, and now here come the Canucks with numbers in the rush. Canuck Liepert for Nielsen. Top of the right circle. Left wing Vandalist shoots right on. Stopped by Fanti. He spilled a rebound to the side of the net, but it was cleared to the corner by Maximus Wanner. And now Noah Filt gathers for Edmonton and carries to center on right wing. Philp around Klimovich at the Vancouver line. Stops up on the half boards. Drops it back to the point. And Michael Kesselring elects to carry back to center, where Noah Dory collects and dumps it back in. Still a minute left in 4-on-4 action after the coincidental penalties to Holloway and Wu. Here's Linus Karlsson with a stretch pass, trying to spring Nychuk down the right wing, but it was just out of his reach, and the draw will come back into the Vancouver zone.
Just a little too much as Chad Nychuk trying to jump up into the play. You gotta love the 4-on-4 where you get that opportunity. And Jackson Van Der Leest stepping up in from the point, and Tristan Nielsen found him. Fanti got enough of it. It wasn't a clean save, but Van Der Leest did come in and get a good shot away. And good work by Fanti. Out to the top of the crease, didn't give him a lot, and able to steer the rebound into the corner.
Oilers win the draw. Quick shot for the line by Broberg. Tipped in front. Seelov's made the save. And Linus Karlsson gets it out to center for Nychuk. Driving middle of the ice across the Oiler line. Drops to Oman. Going to the net. Forced wide by Kesselring, who hammers into the inboards. Wraparound chance at the near post for Linus Karlsson. And another good save by Fanti, this time with the right pad. Now Nychuk, right circle, tried to center back across the goal mouth. Fanned on the pass. And it's cleared to center by Edmonton.
That wraparound was there. That was there. Fanti just got over.
Now here's a turnover and a chance for Hamblin. Partial break down the right wing to the net, to the backhand, and he fired it over the crossbar, trying to beat Seelovs over the glove. Linus Karlsson back across the Oiler line, stick handling in traffic. Puck is tipped to the corner. Karlsson gets to it there, protecting it from Kemp. Near circle, one-timer for Schmiemann in from the line. That went wide of the goal as Holloway and Wu are out of the box, and the teams are back to 5 aside.
We could play 4-on-4 the rest of the way, Brendan. I'd be fine with that. They're going end-to-end this way.
Now here's Schaefer into the Vancouver zone. Hard shot over the net. And after it is Kielb in the far corner. Pinned to the boards by Regish. Canuck Liepert in after it as well. And Dubinsky on the near side. Tried a centering feed. Broken up by Regish, and he'll get it out to center on the backhand. Just past the 5-minute mark, second period. No score, the Canucks and the Oilers. Now Dubinsky, left wing. Long shot into the Vancouver zone. Stopped by Seelovs. And he'll hold as a couple of good chances at 4-on-4, as you said. The game opened wide up.
It sure did, and that wraparound was there. Oh, Fanti comes across. Hamblin gets his stick in there too, but Karlsson, great opportunity. And Hamblin wanted to go short side upstairs. I didn't think he could get it to the front of the net with Anderson closing the gap, and just got a little under that. He's looking maybe for the 8-iron, not the pitching wedge, but just missing.
I don't know how your golf game is. It wouldn't matter what club I had.
Me too.
It'd be off in the woods somewhere. As the faceoff's going to come in the Vancouver zone. I think they've got an issue with the glass at the Canuck bench, though.
The curvy glass. Fixed. Trainers and the therapists, their work never ends. Whether it's fixing equipment or glass. Whatever it takes.
They can do everything. As Broberg's centering pass off the left wing was directed towards the goal by Petrov, but partially blocked. Now here's a 2-on-1 for the Canucks. Gill down the left wing, throws it to the goal. Fanti made the save. It was loose behind him. Shepard goes after it, poked at Fanti, and everybody on the ice is into this at the bottom of the far circle. As Fanti didn't know where it was, Shepard came in and gave him a healthy whack, and it's clear that Jake Chason, among others, did not like that.
No. Well, Ryan Fanti, he knew he had got a good piece of it, but he didn't know exactly where it was. And the Canucks are playing it hard to the whistle. And that's going to draw a crowd.
You may get your wish here. We might have 4-on-4 again.
I think that's exactly what we're getting. Perfect. Well, yeah, Shepard just trying to shove that under the pad into the net, and that will draw a crowd. I mean, it's not like the old days. It's not like we're throwing gloves all over the ice and we're
bench
going
is clearing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're far more refined now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And again, it will be 2 minutes of 4-on-4, resulting coincidental penalties between Shepard and Chason. Cole Shepard, of course, a member of the Vancouver Giants in the Western Hockey League. Got another former Penticton V in this building, too. So
the 18-19 season spent here with the Penticton Vs.
Oilers win the draw at their own line as we near the 6-minute mark, second period. Still no score. We got another penalty here coming up, and I think this will be Danila Klimovich, who swings his stick in frustration, and a 4-on-3 power play for the Oilers.
Oh, he's none too happy. Even punched the glass.
As we get another look at it, stick into the midsection.
Yeah. I can see why he was a little,
Could go either way.
Exactly.
Second power play of the game for the Oilers. They're 0 for 7 thus far at the Young Stars Classic on the man advantage. But extra room, 4-on-3 here, and Holloway's got it right circle. To the line for Broberg. Back to Holloway. Again, Broberg has to settle the puck, goes to Bourgault. Bourgault. Again to Holloway, back to Bourgault. Right faceoff dot through it to the net. It was tipped on by Broberg, and Silovs turned it aside. Canucks can't clear. Bourgault, high slot. Shades to the left circle and rips it wide past the glove side of Silovs. Broberg to the right circle. Holloway, slap pass to the left wing for Bourgault. Forced to go back to Broberg, again for Holloway. Now to Broberg, back to Holloway. Settles, shoots, and it's partially blocked by Schmiemann. Out of play. With 1:08 left in 4-on-3, then we'll have 8 seconds of 5-on-4 before the penalty to Klimovich expires.
Silovs had to be sharp. He made a really good save with the right pad. That was it was point blank. That was a tough opportunity. Just a quick redirect, and he read it well. He knew that there was a potential for the redirect from Broberg and played it accordingly. It was very, very well done by Silovs.
Not something you'll see every day. Philip Broberg at the front of the net as Hamblin gets a chance side of the goal. Misses wide of the net. Tristan Nielsen wins a battle to carry to center on the far side. Into the Oilers zone, protecting it along the boards. Loses it to Hamblin, and he'll go back to center for Bourgault. .45 seconds left in the Oiler power play. Still no score. Just past the 7-minute mark of the second period. Now here's Holloway, right wing. For Bourgault, going behind the net. As this top unit has been out there for an extended time. Holloway's one-timer from a tough angle on the right wing. Stopped by Silovs, trying to drop pass to Broberg. It was out of his reach, and it trickles back to center. Now Bourgault in again quickly on the right wing. Into the high slot for Broberg. Shoots right on, and Silovs grabs it with a glove.
Well, 4-on-3, you should be able to generate opportunity, and the Oilers do. The one-timer from Holloway, a bit of a sharp angle, but if you get Philip Broberg, allow him to walk into the middle, into the slot, that's the high-scoring area. That's the opportunities you're trying to get. And Silovs, just a quick glove. He's in a good spot. He's got good position, gives himself the opportunity to make the save.
Silovs has now stopped all 40 shots he's faced here in Penticton. Oilers still with about 10 seconds left on the power play. Shepard and Chason are out of the box, so that makes it 5-on-4. And Edmonton set up in the Vancouver zone again. Keeled, near point, tied up by Shepard. Power play is now over. As Chason drops behind the net for Noah Philp. Philp out the left wing side. Far point, long wrist shot, ripped wide to the net by Keeled. Dug loose near side by Shepard. Ahead for Klimovich, who plays it into space far wall. And Oman and Philp will battle for it. Oman digs it free for Shepard. Right wing. Hash marks in the Oilers zone. Delays on the boards. Dropped it down the wall for Oman, who fanned on his pass back to the line for Anderson. Finished his check on Chason away from the puck, but play continues. And Nychuk goes ahead to Shepard, who deflects it into the Oiler end. Michael Kesselring starting from behind his own net for the Oilers. Kesselring up the left wing for Reed Schaefer. Time and space to walk to the dot. He scores! Hard wrist shot from Reed Schaefer. Beats Silovs on the glove side, and the Oilers lead 1-0.
Schaefer, the Seattle Thunderbirds product, first-round pick of the Oilers, able to wire that home. The key there is Philip Bengaris takes that middle lane, goes to the net through the middle lane, and the defenseman has to honor it. It gives him enough space, enough separation that he can get a hard shot away. picks the top corner, and Schaefer, who was part of a Seattle team that went to the WHL final last year, eventually losing to the Edmonton Oil Kings. He had 32 goals last year in the WHL. Be a big part of that T-Birds team this year.
21 points in 25 playoff games for Seattle last year, too. And he beats Seelovs over the glove. The Oilers up 1-0 on the goal by Reed Schaefer. Jackson Vandeleest lifts it out to center for Vancouver, picked up by Linus Karlsson. Arshdeep Baines did well to stay onside, and now he'll bring the puck behind the Oiler net. Baines plays it back to the line, split his two defensemen, Vandeleest and Schmiemann. And they'll have to control at their own line. Hamblin, left circle, Bourgault, hard shot, another good save by Seelovs. And Garis with the lone assist on the Schaefer goal. As the Oilers rewarded for some of the great scoring chances they've created as we near the midway point of regulation. Long shot held out by Fanti. And now back to center. Here's Luca Hoff on right wing. He'll dump it in. Dubinsky goes shoulder to shoulder with Wu on the end boards. Puck comes loose to Hoff out of the right corner. Tight angle wrister. Stopped by Seelovs, and he falls on the loose puck at the top of the crease.
Well, Hoff just taking it to the net. Luca Hoff, who was selected in the CHL import draft this past summer by the Edmonton Oil Kings and expected to play with the Oil Kings this upcoming year, an 18-year-old player. That opportunity. So Cole Dubinsky from the Regina Pats also in on the play, but good work by Hoff. Take it to the net. Good things happen. The rebound was there for a moment, but not for long.
Hoff had a bit of a strange season last year. Appeared in the first, second, and third divisions of German hockey.
It's a busy season.
12 games in the DEL, 4 games in the second division, and 25 in the third division. So bouncing around a little bit.
He saw some stuff. Probably has a story or two to tell about it too.
Oilers with a 1-0 lead nearly at the midway mark of the second period. Edmonton out shooting Vancouver 18-17 to this point of the hockey game. And now a puck fired out of play off the draw on the near side by Matt Anderson. I thought it touched the glass.
So did I.
The officials are going to come and have a conference about it, and we'll see if the Oilers are heading back to the power play.
That was on our near side, and it did seem like it hit something, but of course the Oiler players were helping the linesman and referee. As
you get another look at it here, hard to tell from that angle, but
Olivier Rodriguez come into the game.
As the Oilers make a goaltending change, Seelovs staying in the crease for Vancouver, and I believe they have decided to not call a penalty here.
All right. I think that's the right call, is the non-call.
So just prior to the midway mark, Rodrigue enters the crease. Made 17 saves, gave up 1 goal in the 4-1 win over Calgary on Saturday. Second round pick in 2018.
They're going to give him a little warm-up time too. Nice touch. He split last season between Bakersfield and Wichita in the ECHL, so saw games at both levels and was up with the Oilers during the playoff run last year, so was able to take all that in and see how Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen go about their day-to-day in the playoffs and the work ethic and all that. And Olivier Rodriguez spoke about that earlier here in the tournament about how influential and important that was to see what those guys do to prepare themselves when the games are most important. So important for him to get that opportunity last year in the postseason.
I'm sure incredibly motivating as well to be around a team that goes to the Western Conference Finals. And I was thinking about that when looking at Dylan Holloway, who has the one career NHL game under his belt. That game was game 2 of the Western Conference Final, but he only played 3 minutes and 27 seconds. You get that little taste, and then you got to go into the summer and use that as motivation and fuel.
And he spoke about how nerve-wracking it was just with the the building going crazy, and of course, very important game, important time of the year. But yeah, to get that little taste, you know what it's like when you're on a playoff run and what the crowds are like, certainly in Edmonton and anywhere in Canada.
Play back underway with the Oilers leading the Canucks 1-0. In the final game of the Young Stars Classic from Penticton, Brendan Batchelor and Cam Moon with you. As Max Nemesnikov carries to center for Vancouver. Drops to Anderson, across to Nychuk. He'll float it deep into Oiler territory, and Canucks will try and complete a change. Philip Broberg in his own zone, cleared it to the line. Canuck Liepert tried to hold in, but Holloway cleared it past him, and Vandeleest goes back to it in his own end. Jackson Vandeleest, left wing to the red line. Long shot, tipped wide of the net by Rodrigue. Broberg floated it up the middle. Klimovich was there, couldn't knock it out of midair, and now here's Bourgault with a burst of speed down the right wing. Centering pass, picked off by Nielsen. He's tied up by Hamblin in the slot. As Vandeleest stick broke deep in the zone, he doesn't have one. And the Oilers keep the puck in. Canuck Liepert knocks it loose for Klimovich. Turned it over in the slot. Centered from along the goal line by Angaris. Pass never got through, though, and now Waters to center dumps it in, and Vandeleest, still without a stick, can get off on a change.
Yeah, it's a tough situation when your stick craters like that and the puck is deep in your end and you're a defenseman. There's not much you can do if you don't get a stick from the forward or can get off the ice.
I was going to say, that might be one of the coachable moments on the bench for the Canucks, is to the forwards, hey, if you notice that, give him your stick. Now Justin Gill, pass to center, Tristan Nielsen. Tipped it away from Ty Nash on the far boards and dumps it into Edmonton territory. 8 minutes left, second period. Oilers up 1-0. Battle for the puck on the far half wall. Dubinsky after it for Edmonton. It's clear to the line, not out. Quinn Schmiemann carries to the left point. It's poked away from him by Dubinsky. There'll be a foot race to the puck of the Vancouver line. Dubinsky knocked down Schmiemann. Wu on the back check is able to battle it ahead out to center, and now here's Justin Gill. Up the left wing for Connor Lockhart. Across the Oiler line, drops into the corner for Cole Shepherd. Centering pass to the front of the net. Gill couldn't whack it home. And there's a cross check back and forth between Gill and Keeld.
Neither is getting a penalty here, but both were going at each other pretty good.
7:20 left in the second. It's the Oilers with a 1-0 lead on the Canucks after the goal by Reed Schaefer. And there'll be a face-off coming back in the Vancouver zone. Oman and Philp to take it. Oman wins it for the Canucks. Back to the point. Warner holds in for Edmonton. Chad Nychuk took a high stick from Matvei Petrov as he cleared, and that is going to be a penalty to the Oiler forward. So the Canucks will go to the power play with a chance to tie the game when we return. Petrov to the box. It's Edmonton 1, Vancouver nothing with 7:09 left in the second. The final game of the 2022 Young Stars Classic from Penticton.
Scale the Skaha Bluffs. Barrel down the twisted trails. Paddle through those serene waters. Penticton has it all and more. Stroll down to the farmer's market. Sample the local bounty and revel in our natural beauty. Penticton, the mecca of adventure, the place for everyone. Go to visitpenticton.com and plan your trip now.
Take it if you want, or I can talk through it on my.
Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Ever turns your crank.
Much to see and do. Leave the keys and explore on foot, by bike, or paddling for an experience that's almost fuel-free. Out in the fresh Okanagan air, not only are you saving money, you're feeling better with exercise and the peace of mind that comes through responsible and sustainable travel. Feel the freedom of exploring Penticton fuel-free. Almost. Learn more at visitpenticton.com.
The Oilers lead the Canucks 1-0 here at the Young Stars tournament in Penticton, but Vancouver's off to the power play as we get another look there at the penalty against Matvei Petrov, stick up into the face of Chad Nychuk.
Yeah, he didn't start it in his face, but it rode up into his face, and that's going to be a penalty. So Nychuk took the worst of it, but just rolled right through. So opportunity here for the Canucks on the man advantage.
Their 10th power play of the Young Stars Classic, 1 for 9 to this point, so they've struggled to capitalize on their opportunities.
Has to be difficult in a situation like this where you're getting players together, you get maybe one practice, and then you have to put together a power play. You could give them, some kind of the wide strokes of it, what you want to do with the man advantage, and then the rest of it's up to them. And that, I would say the advantage goes to the penalty kill in those situations. Although we're now to the third game, so.
A little bit of a different looking power play unit here. Shepard, Waters, Nielsen, Klimovich, and Nychuk to start it for Vancouver, and Waters wins it cleanly to Nychuk. Klimovich, one-timer, tipped in front by Waters, but deflected wide of the net. Klimovich holds in at the left point. Puck is sent free by Holloway. He and Hamblin will skate it to center. Dylan Holloway, right wing, short-handed, cuts to the slot. He scores! What a goal! Dylan Holloway with a power move to the net. Strikes on the PK to give the Oilers a 2-0 lead.
The Oilers first round pick in 2020 just wouldn't be denied. He was going to take that to the front of the net no matter what, and finds room underneath Silov's power move. You have to have some strength, but you also have to have some jam to pull off a move like this to go to the front. You could take a hit cutting across, but strong play. Hamblin provided a little bit of interference in the middle there to create a bit of a lane, and Holloway just muscled that thing through.
Short-handed goal for Dylan Holloway. That's one of the benefits of using your top players on the penalty kill, isn't it, as well? We see that at the NHL level, at the Young Stars Classic, yes, wherever it might be. You can strike while down a man, and that's exactly what Dylan Holloway did. Tristan Nielsen, right wing. Rink-wide pass to Klimovich on the left wing wall. Canucks still with more than a minute left on the power play to try and answer back and cut the Oiler lead to 1. Nychuk at center for Tristan Nielsen. He'll pick up speed at the red line and bring it in on the right wing. Lays a big hit on Schaefer, who tried to step up on him and ran into the freight train known as Tristan Nielsen. Just over 30 seconds left of the power play. Oman to the the Oiler line, excuse me. Dumps it in. Gatcomb, right corner to Schmiemann at the line. Again for Gatcomb. Once again to Schmiemann. Long shot through traffic. Missed past Rodrigue. And Schmiemann gets it again. Right circle, Arshdeep Bains trying to pass through the slot. Bounces to Carlson. Played it to the back door for Oman, who just missed a tap-in chance. 5 seconds left of the power play. Niels Oman in the corner to Arshdeep Bains. Top of the point. Quinn Schmiemann shoots. Rodrigue makes the save. Rebounds loose. Top of the crease. They can't find it. Is it loose? Is it covered? The whistle hasn't gone. And now the Canucks get it free. Here's Schmiemann in the slot. Shoots right on, and a good save by Rodrigue off the blocker. Power play's over. Carlson tries to shovel it inside of the net. Rodrigue again with a good save. The Oilers get it to the line, but Schmiemann holds in. Quinn Schmiemann, left wing, pass to Oman, right circle, in front for Carlson, he scores! The Canucks kept up the pressure even after the power play had expired, and it's Linus Karlsson with his second of the Young Stars Classic to put Vancouver on the board.
Carlson's the one that scores it. Quinn Schmiemann is the one that made this all happen. He got a couple shots from the point through, just quick little snapshots. Then he saves the puck at the blue line to keep the play alive. I thought Quinn Schmiemann had an amazing shift. Like, he had to work hard to keep that in. and just a quick pass across that gets the puck eventually to the front of the net for Karlsson. But Schmiemann, prior to that, got a couple of shots from the point to the net. Rodrigue had to make saves and then keeps the play alive up the blue line. Amazing play by the defenseman. Karlsson, the recipient. Yeah, that's where if you're going to score goals, you got to stand in that area, and he was in the right spot.
Oman and Schmiemann should draw the assists on the Karlsson goal. As a puck is fired in by Kemp, it goes over the glass and out of play. 4:29 left in the second, so the Oilers score shorthanded. The Canucks score at even strength after the conclusion of their power play, and we're in the exact same position we were sitting in before the penalty.
Yes.
Oilers up by 1.
The Canucks' second half of that penalty kill was good.
Keel dumps it in behind the Vancouver net. Hamblin on the forecheck, hit into the boards by Gill. Puck rolls to the side of the net. Silov's not taking any chances, will smother it as Hamblin draws some attention at the net front.
I think Hamblin might have ate one in the mouth there from, I think that might have been Justin Gill that gave him a quick little shot.
Going to the front of the net.
Yeah, that
Pay a
tends
price
to,
sometimes.
It does tend to happen from every once in a while. Didn't escalate though.
As you were saying earlier, we're much more refined these days.
Much more.
Shot for the left point, ripped wide of the net by Darian Kielb. Kielb at the left circle holds in. Lost the puck though. Here's a 3-on-1 chance for the Canucks. Nemesnikov down the right wing, delays into the slot for Lockhart. He scores! Connor Lockhart on the one-timer, but they've signaled no goal. The fans don't like it in attendance here, and I'm not exactly sure why.
I can't tell you. I loved how Nemesnikov waited for that lane to open up to get that pass across to Lockhart. That was a smart move by Max Nemesnikov, who plays with Sarnia in the Ontario Hockey League. And yeah, they are waving it off.
And they've called it no goal. And it looks like...
Did it not go in?
That, I can't tell from that angle if it's back bar or crossbar. But I think that's what they're saying.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then that is the case.
Canucks bench looking for an explanation from the officials.
Yeah, I don't know if they can go up top for that. So
they might have been in this building. They do have video replay capabilities. I'm not sure if they're using them for these games.
Okay.
Fans don't like it, but that replay we looked at made it look like it didn't go in. So the goal is not allowed. And
still nice setup by Nemesnikov.
It was.
Yeah.
The younger brother of Vladislav Nemesnikov, now of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And their father, Evgeny, a former Vancouver Canucks in his day. Canucks back to center. And from a Vancouver perspective, it's a pity that that opportunity went by the wayside as Vanderleest steps up on Dory. Because it's not often that we've seen the Oilers that wide open at the back, and that was basically a 4-on-1, but here's Tristan Nielsen to the net. Shot was stopped by Rodrigue. Nielsen draws the penalty as Dory got his stick into the midsection, so the Canucks back to the power play with 3 minutes left in the second period, looking for another opportunity to tie the game.
Great effort by Nielsen. He saw that he could maybe get half a step on Dory, which he did. And Rodrigue's got to come across and close everything off, but Nielsen, just his speed is what created that chance and then creates the power play for the Canucks.
Third power play of the afternoon for Vancouver. They're 0 for 2. As the Oilers win the draw, Broberg clears right point. Baines got across quickly and did well to hold in. He floats it back below the goal line. Oman and Gatcomb on the forecheck can't find it, and it's Broberg again to clear it down the ice. Schmiemann, such a big part of Vancouver's lone goal of the game, plays it ahead, and now Oman carries in on the left wing. Niels Oman for Arshdeep Baines off the end boards, drove the front of the net, tried a backhander, was knocked off his stick, and the Oilers clear again.
Yeah, quick little move by Baines to get that opportunity. That it was quick hands to get it to the front of the net.
Oman across the Oiler line for Schmiemann left wing. Clears it behind the net. Michael Kesselring will drop it off down low for Maximus Wanner. And now a battle ensues behind the Oiler net. 1 minute left in the Canuck power play. 2 minutes to go in the second period. Oilers lead 2-1 at the Young Stars Classic in Penticton. Baines trying to hold in top of the point. Did a good job to get it to the corner for Oman, who centers in front. Linus Karlsson was going to the net. Couldn't tip it on target. And now here's Dylan Holloway already with a shorthanded goal tonight. 1-on-2 to the Vancouver line. Holloway blows a tire in the right circle. Keeps the puck, protects it from Schmiemann, but then Shepard knocks it loose for Karlsson, and the Canucks are back up ice. Linus Karlsson, right circle for Chase Waters. Waters in the corner, protecting the puck from Broberg, who knocks it free, and Holloway clears it out to center. It deflects into the Vancouver bench, though, and that'll bring the faceoff back into the Oilers zone.
Big effort by Dylan Holloway on that penalty kill, and that's what led to his goal. It's just that effort. He's got the speed, absolutely, and the speed's obvious, and that effort to go along with it. And Holloway, the first-round pick of the Oilers in 20, is going to really push hard for a roster spot on this year's Edmonton team.
24 seconds remaining in the Vancouver power play. Oilers win the draw, but Klimovich holds into the line. Right side for Nychuk. Down the far boards to Tristan Nielsen. Right wing half wall. Into the slot for Cole Shepard. Back to Nychuk again for Nielsen. Try to pass to the left circle for Klimovich, who was wide open, but it tipped off a stick. And wide to the boards. Now Nielsen's got it again, right corner. Just a couple of seconds left in the power play. To Nychuk at the line. Klimovich left circle, shoots. And it stopped off the blocker of Rodrigue into the final minute of the period. Canucks 0 for 3 on the power play. And the Oilers still lead 2-1. Now a bit of miscommunication between Wu and Nychuk, and Filt pounces on the puck of the Vancouver line. His centering pass deflected awkwardly on target. And Seelovs covers up.
Well, the potential for that is there where you've got players that haven't played together for a long period of time. Noah Philp firing that towards the net. It was redirected, and that was a tricky save for Seelovs off a Philp shot, because it definitely went off a stick before it got to the netminder.
.40 seconds left in this second period. Oilers win the draw. Heavy shot for the line by Keob. Another good left pad save by Seelovs. And now it's Rigish left wing to the red line, who lifts it in to the Oilers zone. Keob behind his own net. Watched closely by Rigish. Takes his time before going rink wide to the near side for Maximus Wanner. Wanner to center. Caught up in some traffic. Canucks get the puck free. Jet Wu in his own zone with just 6 seconds left of the period. For Anderson, he'll play it to center. Wu goes after it as the bench yells to him to shoot, and he got one off just as the buzzer sounded. The second period comes to a close with the Oilers striking twice in the middle frame. The Canucks got one back, and it's 2-1 Edmonton after 2.
Well, it does set up for a good third period to finish off this Young Stars Classic. I mean, these teams, they've gone hard through 40. Pace has been good. Physicality has been good. Opportunity, net minding, all of those things. And both teams are going to want to finish strong. It's the last 20 minutes for both these clubs to impress management and coaches, try to push, get an opportunity at main camp. It's all coming down to the last 20, so I'd expect the effort in the third period to be quite high.
1 goal game through 40 minutes. Canucks are out shooting the Oilers 25-21 here inside the South Okanagan Events Center in Penticton. Coming up in a few moments, I will chat with former Canuck forward, now working for the organization in player development. Michael Samuelson will be my guest here in our second intermission. But first, let's join Tony Brar, Jack Michaels, and Bob Stauffer for a look at the Oilers' perspective on this prospects tournament.
Coverage continues here in the beautiful Okanagan, Penticton, BC for the Young Stars Classic, where the Oilers rookies are a perfect 2-0 heading into the third and final game on Monday. This is the panel presented by Sportsnet. Tony Brar here alongside for my 5th season, so thanks so much for putting up with me for 4 other years. Pair of voices of the Edmonton Oilers, Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels. I can see the
well, you're more than welcome,
giving.
I guess.
I appreciate that, guys. And something that the Oilers amateur staff and management staff will appreciate is the Oilers rookies getting off to a 2-0 start and a wicked showing from that top line of James Hamlin, Dylan Holloway, and Xavier Bourgault. Bob, maybe let's just start with Dylan Holloway. A simple question for you. Does he look NHL ready in your eyes?
I think it's a little bit tough to tell in this tournament just because I think that he should, and that line should be in a position where, you know, they have a bit of an advantage over some of the other players. The reality of the situation is, you know, the Oilers have 4 first-round picks here. We might come here next year, and Edmonton might only have 1. You don't know how that goes. Edmonton does have some older, experienced players. James Hamlin, anybody that's 22 plus in this tournament. I mean, Vancouver's got a team full of guys like that. It's an advantageous situation. But all that being said, in critical times in both their 2 opening games, that line completely took over the game. So we'll start with Holloway. You know, he's explosive. He can skate. He's assertive. He's not afraid to throw his body around. And then he's come through at critical times to create some offense and scored a great goal last night. So that's exciting. James Hamlin said on Oilers Now, or Jay Woodcroft said on Oilers Now the other day regarding James Hamlin, he will get NHL games at some point. And I think it's an exciting player that the Oilers have developed. And then in Bourgault's case, I think he's kind of been the subtly creative guy on that line. Yep. So, you know, he might be a little further away, but there's a lot there to work with. So I think Oilers fans should be excited with the performance of that top line.
Jack, when you assess the performance of Dylan Holloway, he talked about it earlier this week that when it comes to the pro game, he needs to be more conscious of relying on his physical play to keep him engaged. Is that what you're seeing so far from number 55?
Well, to Bob's point, it's not necessarily the pro game at this tournament. It can be a scrambly affair at times because a lot of guys are not, you know, in the spots that their now teammates are accustomed them to being in because, you know, chemistry takes a while to develop at this tournament. I think it's interesting, though, that the young stars over the years for the Edmonton Oilers, they haven't lost a game in regulation at this tournament since 2013. You know, no matter what kind of compendium of draft picks and camp invites seem to bring here, the Oilers have played well. And as far as Holloway is concerned, I've been impressed with what he's done on the forecheck in this tournament. I think you'll start looking for general habits of players in this tournament to see whether they'll translate into main camp. And that's actually a little bit of what we saw from Xavier Bourgault, especially in the opener, when he was the guy who made the play to create the game winner at the end with the chips down the line with 2.5 to go. And Bob's point about James Hamlin is interesting, and I'm interested that Jay Woodcroft kind of shares what we're seeing at this tournament as a guy that once again is around the net. Here's a guy who scored, again, 20 goals as a 17-year-old in the Western Hockey League. I know he went undrafted, but it wasn't just the 2 30-goal years at age 19 and 20. We see a lot of guys bust out and do that, but he's been scoring for a long time. And to elevate his game in the American Hockey League from 7 to 21 goals, I think that top line as a whole, and not just Holloway, has shown chemistry and it has shown grit in the offensive zone, but not when it just comes to scoring. When it comes to turning pucks over and kind of making that transition, the kind of plays we see from Kyler Yamamoto at the National Hockey League level in the regular season.
Condors head coach Colin Chalk is asked about James Hamlin. He only describes him one way: Mr. Do It right. All right, to another player that's doing a lot of other right things, that being on the back end, Philip Broberg, Bob. He put on 12 pounds of muscle in preparation for this NHL season. What have you seen from 86?
Well, I'm going to pick up on what Jack said when he talked about sort of the frenetic, scrambling nature of hockey, and I think that it's harder for defensemen to kind of shine in this sort of scenario where you've got age ranges from 18 to 24 in a tournament and guys that aren't used to playing with one another. To me, Philip Broberg almost looks like he's got a bit of a governor on right now. Like he's not totally, like, he's playing within himself. The power play, I mean, you got to have some time spent, together to work on the power play in terms of creating looks and that sort of thing. So I'd completely dismiss anything that's happened there. I think it's great that Broberg's here. It's great for the Oilers that Broberg is here. But for Broberg, again, we're going to need to see the progression throughout the course of the upcoming training camp and into the preseason. So I think it's a little bit, frankly, it's funny. There's one defenseman for me on the right side that's kind of Sean, and I know we're going to talk about him a bit. But in terms of Broberg, I think he's the type of guy that as he plays with better players, I think he might look better because he's got an expectation of where people are supposed to be on the ice, where he's putting pucks in play, and that sort of thing.
And I believe that right shot defenseman is Max Wanner, if I'm not mistaken. And Oilers management and the scouting staff have seemingly grown on him. They think very highly of him. What have you seen from number 88 this weekend?
Well, it's interesting you use the term grown, Tony, in the sense that Max Wanner brings attributes naturally. He's a 6'3" right-handed shot. I mean, so you start with that. You then see the aspects of his game that have some appeal. A guy who can move the puck, but doesn't necessarily get himself out of position to do so. He's a guy who plays within himself, considering, such a late-round pick. You might think at a tournament like this, he wants to, create some massive impression. But no, what I've seen out of Max Wanner is a guy who plays physical in his own end, moves the puck, and then does not run himself out of position looking for big hits, chasing the big impression. In fact, the right side for the Edmonton Oilers at this tournament, I think is impressive as a whole, and you see the experience that's been picked up on that right side at the American Hockey League level in guys like Phil Kemp and Michael Kesselring, who's been all over the place in the two games. I mean, he's been in the mix. He was in the scrum at the end of the first. He got in a fight later. Those are the kinds of things you look for without trying to do too much at this tournament because, again, as Bob said, sometimes you can get yourself out of position. For me, Philip Broberg, his training camp began in the aftermath of last year and the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs when Philip Broberg played his one and only game. He played a couple of minutes. And yet, at the end of the game, his captain, Connor McDavid, who had just maybe played the best game of his life, which is saying something, mentions Philip Broberg in his press conference. Now, why does he do that? Because he has a sneaking suspicion Philip Broberg has a real chance to be on this team sooner rather than later. And I think Broberg at this tournament is just making steps. Get himself ready for main camp that's where another impression can be made. And I think the other players, what Bob has hinted at, they're going to have to take their games to the next level at the main camp to make sure they start the season at the NHL level and not somewhere else.
Tony, I mean, Ken Holland said on Oilers Now early in the summer said basically Philip Broberg has to play his way onto the Edmonton Oilers. Philip Broberg's got to play his way off the Edmonton Oilers, and Dylan Holloway, in terms of deployment of minutes, is going to have to play his way onto the team. Just circling back to Max Wanner, for me, right shot D, right shot centers. Right? Those guys are unicorns. And my expectation, Wanner's a 2021 draft. My expectation is the Edmonton Oilers will look at signing Wanner maybe even within the month. So I think that he's impressed quite a bit. You can never have enough guys like that. And that brings us to another right shot guy, and that's Noah Philp, who's a total wild card. He scored a nice goal in the game last night. He's been pretty good in the face-off circle, and there's some runway for him to grow. But in my mind, Jack, you can never have enough right shot guys, and the Oilers don't have it. They've got Derek Ryan as a right shot center, but he finished the year last year in right wing. They don't have an organizational depth right shot center coming, with the exception of Noah Philp. That's part of the reason why they signed him. It's going to be exciting to watch his development.
Well, there's a right-handed shot center, which you haven't mentioned and doesn't really apply to this tournament, that I think James Hamblin is starting to look like to me, except he's a left-handed shot, and that's Derek Ryan. James Hamblin, like Derek Ryan, is showing that you can get better in your early to mid-20s. And when Bob brings up the fact that Jay believes James Hamblin is going to get NHL games, perhaps sooner rather than later, that tells me he's seen the same thing we have in a guy that's hanging around, pushing his way up, and actually growing his game. You know, I think 20 years ago, Tony, he might not have had the greatest shot because of his size, 5'10", or 5'9", 5'10", but I think we're at the stage now in the National Hockey League when you have skill and a determination to play in straight lines and be constantly around the net and be constantly a scoring threat, you can find games in this league.
It'll be interesting to see what he can do come Wednesday. Before we finish things off here for the panel, one quick thought with main camp on Wednesday. What's one thing that you're looking for, Jack, when Wednesday comes?
Well, again, you know, we can talk about these standouts at the Young Stars tournament all we want, but unless they do it at main camp, ultimately those impressions will start to fade. They've made good first impressions, I think, the players we've talked about during this panel. But in order to cinch a spot in a National Hockey League roster, you've got to have a big main camp. You've got to do it from day one, not only in the games but in practices, and to earn more NHL preseason games. You'll hear Bob in our preseason broadcasts on 6:30 Ched. He'll say at times during the first couple games, well, he's probably earned himself another game. What he's really saying is he's taken another stop towards potentially landing an NHL roster spot that no one believed he could. And that's what you want to watch for at main camp with these players. As far as a guy who's an outsider maybe to make an NHL camp, you know what? If Dylan Holloway makes his presence felt at main camp the way he has at rookie camp, he's going to have a shot.
Yeah, for me, there's a couple things. The Oilers are going to open, as you guys know, with 5 games in 8 days. That might lend itself to Edmonton. I know there's been a lot of rumblings. Nothing's been made officially yet on Jason Demers, but will there be another PTO added at some point for Edmonton, just so they have a little bit more experience and another option in terms of addressing lineups to make sure that they have the NHL Pro quotient in there. But I'm going to go with my partner here as well. For me, because we know Broberg's basically on the team, I want to see where Dylan Holloway sort of matches up relative to the other guys on the left side, and whether or not he, ends up in the top 9. Like, is that feasible at all? So it's going to be an exciting time. Oilers fans should be stoked. I mean, the team has, obviously they've got 2 of the best players in the world. They've got a great supporting cast. The additions of Kane and Hyman have changed the complexion of Edmonton's top 6. We know that. Where's Jesse Puljujarvi going to fit in this year? That's going to be another storyline to watch. They've got good young prospect defensemen bubbling underneath. Should be a pretty good time here.
Before the opening of main camp on Wednesday will come the conclusion of the Young Stars Classic. The Oilers' third and final game goes against the Vancouver Canucks prospects. You can watch that right here on EdmontonOilers.com. For Jack, Bob, I'm Tony Barr signing off for the panel presented by Sportsnet.
5 years, eh?
Can't believe it.
Back inside the South Okanagan Events Center, where the Edmonton Oilers lead the Vancouver Canucks 2-1 after 2 periods. Brendan Batchelor pleased to be joined now by former Canuck forward, now working for the organization in player development, Michael Samuelsson. Thanks for taking the time to do this. Appreciate it. Just your thoughts on the first couple of periods here from your group.
No, I think we played a pretty good game. Obviously, we played three games in 4 nights now, and I shouldn't say you can tell, but I see excitement. I see the guys are blocking shots and then trying their best, and it's a lot of fun to be here.
Your opportunity to see this tournament and come to Penticton, how nice of a way is this to start off the season for your young players, to maybe give them a little bit of a leg up for the guys that are going into training camp and to get some game action under their belts?
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of a head start, and I think they need it. Like coming into the main camp here in a couple of days, it's always good to be in actual situations. You can practice as much as you want, but a game is a game, and guys are coming at you at their best. So you got to be ready, and I think these guys are.
How about for you personally, being back in the organization now, working in player development? How exciting is this opportunity for you? And we were just talking before we came on about a chance to work with a bunch of your former teammates as well.
Yeah, no, I love it. Development is it's what I like the most. I tried it before, and I also tried the GM job in Sweden. It wasn't really for me. It was, what I like. I feel like I'm leaning towards be closer to the ice all the time when I work like that. So I love developing players who's hungry for success. and that's my mindset too. So if I can do them just a little bit better, if they end up in NHL, that's still written in the stars. But I will give it a good try, and I really like it.
How important or valuable do you think it is for some of these young players, the number of former NHLers that are now working in the organization too? There's yourself, there's Chris Higgins, Ryan Johnson, Daniel and Henrik Sedin helping out in player development now as well. That's a lot of different players with a lot of different experiences on their journey to get to the NHL.
No, I really, not because it's only me and a couple of my friends there. As a young guy, if I get advice or whatever it is, from former players who's been in the league, it would be huge for me. I didn't, and I don't think this role was even existing back then. You have to take your own impressions and figure it out. Obviously, they still have to do that, and sometimes it's really good to figure it out yourself too. But if it could be a little bit of a mix, some advice and then some figured out by themselves, it's good.
I want to ask you about a couple of the Swedish players in particular here at the Young Stars for the Canucks. Let's start with Linus Karlsson, who I think has had a pretty good weekend here. And from talking to people around the club, it seems like he's really taken a big step in his development over the last few years. How have you seen him grow as a player, and what do you think the challenges will be for him coming over to play in North America?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like Linus has been playing like high-level hockey for a couple of years now, and he's, like you said, like he is developing. I've seen him 3 years now. Pucks finds his stick all the time, and he's smart out there. His challenge is, I know he heard it before, but it's like his quickness in his first strides. If he can get that going, now he compensates it with smartness. There's nothing wrong with that. But if he's going to play on an even higher level, I think he needs to push a little more, like with his skating.
Also want to ask you about Nils Åman playing on the top line here the last couple of games. What do you see in terms of his game and how he might transition to likely spending most of the season in Abbotsford this year?
Yeah, I think he's also a very good player. I think he's a little bit underrated. He doesn't do any really fancy stuff, but he's always in the right spot and has good speed and also like another smart player.
Last one for you here, a player not at this tournament, but someone that Canuck fans are very excited about in Jonathan Lekkerimäki. You know, as he goes into this year in Sweden, what are some of the things you talk to him about and opportunities that he'll have to try and grow his game as he looks to build towards eventually cracking the Canucks roster?
Yeah, obviously he's a little younger. He's a 2004, and he needs coming into the season now play against men for the pretty much first time. He was a little bit in the SHL last year. Now he plays one division down, like in Allsvenskan in Sweden, but in his case, like that doesn't do that's only good. I think he can get a bigger role on the team, and for his development, it's great. But also, like he's a really talented player. He knows how to put the puck in the net. Like you always, as an 18 or 19, you always have to work on something. I like him to watch a guy like Stamkos and to see how he works all over the ice, not only like from the red line and forward, but like he's in a good spot, and it's just very new for him and me to get to know each other. But we will develop that, and when I earn his trust, we can speak more closely. So I'm looking forward to that.
Michael, thanks for this. Appreciate you taking the time, and good luck with this group here in the third period.
Thank you. Appreciate
there you go. That's former Canucks forward Michael Samuelsson, now in player development with the organization. We'll be back with the third period face-off in a moment.
We're going to do the best we can to change the culture and get to a point where we have a consistent playoff team that can grow into a contender and give us a chance to get to the ultimate goal.
Anderson shoots, it's in!
We just want to be a team that is in your face all night long, playing aggressive and not sitting back.
Hughes lets one go, scores!
Have a great young team that is hungry to win.
Now moves back towards Wilson, scores! Deep center's man, oh my goodness!
We're going to do what it takes to win.
Heading into the final period here at the Young Stars Classic in Penticton. Another beautiful view there along the Naramata bench as the Oilers lead the Canucks 2-1 through 40 minutes. Let's take a look back at the second period highlights. Opportunities at both ends. What a beautiful shot there, and the game's opening goal scored by Reed Schaefer gave the Oilers a 1-0 lead at that point. And they built on that and now lead 2-1 underway here in the third period in Penticton. For the benefit of our radio listeners, the Canucks in blue going from left to right, the Oilers in white skating from right to left. And a claim to undefeated fame here at the Young Stars Classic on the line in this third period. Linus Karlsson to the Oiler line, left wing. Arshdeep Bains tried a shot. It was partially tipped to the side of the net and covered up by Olivier Rodrigue.
Had to have a very active stick, otherwise Bains was going to get the opportunity off the wing, and just getting the stick in front of that made it a lot easier for Olivier Rodrigue. To me, Bains has been very impressive throughout this entire tournament, playing with Oman and Karlsson. It's been a dangerous line, and his ability to think the game really shows here so far, and playing with those guys probably helps too.
That hockey IQ should benefit him in terms of translating to the pro game, likely in Abbotsford in the AHL this year. And it's those kind of players coming out of junior that even if they don't get offensive minutes or big roles in pro hockey to start, if you have that understanding of the little things you need to do to have success, you can make it as a pro player, even playing down the lineup.
And Arshdeep Bains is a great example of a guy that wasn't drafted in the NHL out of the Western League, but continued to work on his craft and get better and have a great 20-year-old year, signs a free agent contract with the Canucks. He was undrafted going into the Western League too. Just listed by Red Deer, went in there and played really well and just continued to develop. And I expect he'll continue to do that at the American League level and give himself an opportunity maybe one day playing in the NHL.
Great lesson for kids out there. You don't have to be drafted to the Dub. You don't have to be drafted to the NHL to make it as a pro hockey player. Arshdeep Bains a good example of that.
Yeah, and James Hamblin there on the other side, same thing. Not drafted out of the WHL, but gets an American League deal and then works his way into an NHL deal. So yeah, everybody has a kind of a different route and there's a different trajectory, but it doesn't mean that if at first it doesn't go your way, you can stick with it and find success.
That's the great thing about this Young Stars tournament as well is, a lot of the players that play here may not make it to the NHL, but there have been a number of pretty cool success stories of guys that have come in here, not drafted, free agent invites that have gone on to play NHL games. Former Canuck Antoine Roussel, a good example of that. Oilers in their own zone as we near the 2-minute mark, third period. Edmonton leads 2-1. Here's a chance for Justin Gill in on net, though. Poke checked right at the vital moment as he tried to cut in on Rodrigue. Now Alex Canuck-Liepert with a shot from the line. Was blocked in the slot. Gill, after the loose puck, lost his stick. Klimovich had two sticks for a moment, then dropped one, realizing, I probably can't play with those. And now here's Holloway back the other way. Low backhand shot from the slot in on Seelovs, who kicked it out with the left pad. Puck fired from the line by Warner was deflected wide of the net. Canucks clear, and now it's sent back in on the far side by Reed Schaefer. Big hit on the near boards as Vandalist finished his check on Angaris. Dino Kambites hit hard in front of the Vancouver bench by Justin Gill. They're going back and forth at each other behind the play. Arm in the air from the back referee as a skirmish breaks out in the corner too, and there go the gloves. It's Canuck-Liepert and Angaris behind the net. Canuck-Liepert with the right hand free, pops the helmet off of Angaris, who's just trying to hold on. Now Canuck-Liepert gets that left hand loose. Down goes Angaris. And the fans in Penticton enjoying the fisticuffs.
That was best tilt so far. That was all offense, no defense. You don't see it much anymore. That was, I really thought Kambites and Gill might get into it, but that one didn't quite.
The fireworks were deep in the zone, not at center ice. although all 4 players are in the box, and we'll wait and see if any power plays result from this. I can't imagine they will.
No. Canuck Liepert with some solid rights. Then switched. Wow. That's hard to deal with. You're trying to tie up a right hand and you get hit with a left.
Being ambidextrous paying off for Canuck Liepert there.
Sure did.
Got into 41 games with the Abbotsford Canucks last year in the regular season. Played a bit of forward for them at times when they had some injury issues and needed guys to play out of position. Actually did pretty well in his limited sampling on the offensive side of the game. So just another thing for a young player trying to make his name in pro hockey. Hey, I can play D, I can play forward. Wherever you need me, I'm there.
Exactly. You need me to be physical, or if you need me to play well defensively, and that's what the Young Stars is all about, is trying to be noticed and trying to make an impression on management and coaches. Canuck Liepert that was a solid tilt. Remember him 4 years with the Vancouver Giants.
Former captain of the club.
Yeah.
And a big part of a deep playoff run to the Western Hockey League final a few years ago. Oilers on the forecheck in the Vancouver zone. Jet Wu gets it free to Mark Gatcomb. Then Max Nemesnikov drops it at center for Michael Regish, who is hassled on the back check. And the Canucks go offside at the Edmonton line. 2:57 into the third period. It's Edmonton up 2-1 on Vancouver. Oiler goals scored by Reed Schaefer and Dylan Holloway shorthanded. Linus Karlsson with the lone goal for the Canucks.
Canucks out shooting Edmonton 17-11 in that second period. Oilers switching goaltenders halfway through. There's Olivier Rodrigue in now. It was Ryan Fanti that started.
Fanti went half the game without giving up the goal, but here's another one. Linus Karlsson along the goal line. Caught Rodrigue off his post. His second of the game, ties it at 2 for Vancouver.
That's a smart play by Karlsson. I absolutely think that's exactly what he was trying to do. He's looking for a bank shot off the netminder, and Rodrigue had left a little bit of room between the post and himself. And it takes a perfect shot for the bank, but Karlsson absolutely found a way to weasel it in on the short side, and that was a sharp play by him. You can try and move it to the front of the net, but there's not a lot of options at that point. Hey, put it towards that little bit of a gap that you see, and if you can put it off the goaltender and in, it has a chance. I mean, that does happen from time to time. Smart play by Karlsson.
And so we're back to level pegging here, still with more than 16 minutes left in the third period. Oilers had the 2-0 lead, and the Canucks have clawed back both goals by Linus Karlsson to tie the game. And I said coming into the third period that this would be the last period here in Penticton, but you never know.
Maybe not.
Could need more than 60 minutes. Klimovich with a heavy shot off the right wing. Ooh. Tough angle, ripped it past the ear of Olivier Rodrigue.
Buzzed the tower there with the high heat.
Now here's Hamblin, left wing, into the Vancouver zone, shot on target, right into the crest on the blue uniform of Artur Silovs, as we'll take another look here at the equalizing goal scored by Linus Karlsson, just getting the puck to the net.
Yeah, just seeing that there's a little bit of room there, and try and bank that off the netminder and take your chances. I don't think he was, that's exactly what he was doing. He was looking for the bank shot, and he got it to sneak in. From a goaltender point of view, tough one to give up.
Rodrigue, a former Canadian World Junior goaltender, albeit not as the starter when he represented his country back in 2020. As the Oilers try to work the cycle with their top line out in the Vancouver zone. Jackson Vandalist behind the net. Knocks it away from Dylan Holloway and floats it high off the window into the Oiler end. Maximus Warner hit hard into the end boards by Arshdeep Bains. Puck squirts loose towards the front of the net, cleared from the goal mouth by Philip Broberg, and he gets out the sand wedge to chop it off the glass and out to center.
Perfect shot.
Vandalist off the left wing, try to drop pass. It bounced off a skate back to center. Now here's Carlson again for Oman. Try to drop pass to Carlson. Didn't look though, gave it away to Kield. And he'll start the rush back the other way for the Oilers. Darian Kield to Noah Philp, bottom of the left circle. Philp passes back to the right side for Reed Schaefer. Shoveled a backhander to the net. It was blocked, and here's a chance for Cole Shepard away to center. Shepard with speed down the left wing. Drops it on the far boards to Matt Anderson. Left it at the line for Michael Regish covering. Played it down the wall, but the Oilers get it out to center again. Philp across the Vancouver line. Long shot off the left wing. Stepped into that wrister, but Seelovs was there with his glove hand.
Oh, Philp can let that thing fly. That was from a long ways out. You expect your netminder to make the save, and Seelovs had no problem with it. But that still had a little something on it. In the second, he played the second half of last season with the University of Alberta Golden Bears. Philp had 8 goals in 8 games. The Bears win Canada West. They lost in multiple overtimes in the national final, but then signing with the Oilers and going to Bakersfield, got a few games in near the end of last season.
Canmore native, going to the University of Alberta, playing for the Oilers. Now having an opportunity within the organization.
Played with Kootenay and Seattle in the Western Hockey League.
Oilers with it in the Vancouver end. Broberg from the right point, played to the near circle. Hamblin wound and fired. Seelovs out to cover it. As one of the Oilers cruised through the crease, that was Petrov, knocked the mask off Seelovs' head, and he'll gather himself again.
Yeah, Petrov's just kind of cutting through there and just got a piece of Seelovs. The mask dislodged. He's all right, though.
Chance to showcase that beautiful head of hair that he's got.
Hey, if I had flow like that, I'd be doing the same.
I was say, not something that either of us can boast about.
We don't have to worry about that.
Nearing the 6-minute mark, third period, 2-all tie the Canucks and the Oilers. From the Young Stars Classic in Penticton, Brendan Batchelor and Cam Moon with you. As the puck is cleared into the Oilers zone, and it's icing against Vancouver. Things start to pick up pretty quick here for both of these organizations. Training camp will start later this week for both the Canucks and the Oilers, and preseason gets going this coming weekend as well.
Yes, it does. 8 preseason games in a short amount of time. You're getting players in and out of the lineup. There's travel in there. There's a lot going on as the teams figure out who they keep.
Canucks clear to center off the faceoff in their own zone. Warner back at his own line for Broberg, and now up the left wing for Noah Philp. Clears into the corner. Anderson back to it for the Canucks, across to Nemesnikov. Feeds the line, not out. Warner holds in. His shot deflected high in the air. They score! Seelovs completely lost it, and it floats over his head and into the back of the net off a redirect from the right circle. I don't know if this is going to be Warner's goal or not, but the Oilers have the lead back.
Seelovs never saw it. He had no idea where that thing went after it hit his stick, and it was just a fly ball over his head. But you don't see it. You don't see it. Warner put it towards the goal. That must have went off a Canucks stick.
So the Oilers reestablish the lead. For the moment, we believe that'll be Maximus Warner with the goal on the shot from the point. That's one of those goals where you're right, you really feel for Seelovs because there's absolutely nothing he can do when the puck floats in over his head. And the Canucks with an uphill climb yet again, still more than 13 minutes left in this third period. They've got it as Warner unassisted.
Seen a couple of bizarre goals this period between Carlson and Warner.
As Waters gains the Oiler line, can't get it deep. The other thing you wonder about for these teams, or at least for some of the players anyway, 3 games in 4 days here. In the Canucks case, a pair of matinee games back-to-back. So really 3 games in 3.5 days.
When you haven't played any in a while.
And obviously there have been some changes to the lineup. Not every player has played all 3, but there's enough of them out there that could start to play a factor as you get into the later stages of this game. Nychuk near corner in his own zone. There was D to the far side. Puck is thrown out to center by Anderson, but Nash back in on the left wing. Fired it on target, and Seelov's made a save. Now Niels Oman from behind his own net. To William Karlsson at center, already with 2 goals today. Tried to play it ahead for Arshdeep Bains. It was broken up by Michael Kesselring, and he'll start from behind his own net. Here's Kesselring with a burst of speed to center. Rink wide to Ty Nash on the left wing. Nash floats it to the goal. It was tipped, and Seelov's made a good save off the redirect by Cole Dubinsky. Rigish behind the goal. Far point, long shot. Thrown to the net again by Warner. Hey, why not? It worked for you a second ago. But this time Seelovs makes the stop as we get another look at that strange goal for Maximus Warner.
Yeah, just a little snapshot from the point. It's not dangerous till it hits a stick, goes up in the air, and Seelovs has no idea where it is. And it's not like he was that far out. Like, that had to be a perfect drop shot over him and in, because there wasn't a lot of room between the goaltender and the crossbar.
Cole Shepard at his own line for the Canucks. Clears it up the left wing for Connor Lockhart. Thought he scored a goal back in the second period, but it was ruled to have gone off the crossbar, landed on the goal line, and stayed out. And now the Canucks are forechecking in the Oiler end. Nearing the 9-minute mark, third period. Here's Rigish right to the goal. Puck is loose, top of the crease. Canucks are whacking away at it. Lockhart in there too. Couldn't get it to go. And now Dino Kambites fights for it behind the net for the Oilers. Cleared it far corner. Jackson Vandeleest pinches in from the line. Played it behind the net. Kambites gets it free for the Oilers. Delayed an attempt to clear. Nearly lost the puck, but Warner's there to bail him out and clears to center. Now Alex Cannock-Liepert to the red line. Fires it into the right corner. Rodrigue handles side of the net, but lost it to Cole Shepard on the forecheck. Shepard drops it to Gill near corner. He takes a heavy hit down low from Keel, as Gatcomb has to hold in left point. Puck squirts loose to the middle of the ice, and here's James Hamblin with a burst of speed to center. Goes to Bourgault on the right wing. Pass didn't connect. Canucks clear, and then it's fired back in again by Phil Kemp. Quinn Schmiemann from behind the Vancouver goal. Pass near corner. Jet Wu missed it. It comes ahead to Gatcomb at center. He'll dump it in on the right wing. Rodrigue's turn to leave the crease, rather. Plays to the point. Wu holds in. Nemesnikov after it on the forecheck. Kemp back to it far corner. Ahead for Bourgault, and he'll bank it to center for Dylan Holloway. Holloway trying to sneak past Jet Wu, stuck with him. Knocked the puck loose. And Schmiemann up the near side gave it away to Noah Philp. Here's Philp with a step on Schmiemann. Down the left wing. Schmiemann recovered to force him wide. Philp tried a rink-wide pass across to Chason, who missed it, but Kesselring has it right circle. Michael Kesselring behind the net for Jake Chason. Throws it to the top of the crease at Chase Waters. Had to be quick to clear it out of the blue paint as the Canucks get it out to center.
Chason looked like he was thinking of a bank shot there, whether it hit a skate or a stick or something. That had a chance.
Icing against the Oilers will bring about a face-off in the Edmonton zone. 9:09 left in this third period. Oilers lead 3-2.
Seeing teams now just putting it to the net. I mean, a couple of bizarre goals here in the third period. Why not? Like, put it towards the goal, whether you get a rebound or off a stick or something. Force the netminders to make saves.
Canucks win the draw in the Oilers zone. Anderson dumps it behind the net. Klimovich with it left corner. Turns and fires. There's another perfect example. As it tipped off a stick and wide of the net, but From the Canucks' perspective, Carlson scored from a tough angle, so you might as well test Rodrigue from the posts. Nychuk trying to hold in left point, lost the puck. It comes to Chason up the right wing, stood up by Waters at the Vancouver line. And Nychuk on the back check gets the puck. Try to pass near side, nearly intercepted off the stick of Ty Nash. Canucks get it ahead anyway. And Waters back to it in his own zone. D-to-D to Broberg, who had Tristan Nielsen right on his heels, but was able to clear the puck away and out to center. Now here's Dubinsky, left wing, driving into the slot. Vancouver zone, he scores on the backhand. Fires it over the glove of Artur Silovs, and it's 4-2 Edmonton.
That was a very skilled play by Cole Dubinsky. 49 points last year with the Regina Pats. He's played 4 seasons in Regina, and that was unreal. Like, he had to make a good move to get it to the front of the net and then have the wherewithal to backhand it right up into the corner. It's a perfectly placed shot. For Silovs, that's an awfully tough one to make a save on, but to make the move on the defenseman and get that upstairs, it's a great play by Dubinsky. Shows a tremendous amount of skill.
Dubinsky played at the Okanagan Hockey Academy when he was a youngster as well, so familiar with this part of the country. And reestablishes the 2-goal lead for the Oilers with just under 8 minutes now remaining in this third period. Edmonton's up 4-2. Canuck Liepert with a shot from a bit of a strange angle through traffic off the right wing. Carlson was parked in front and just tipped it wide of the net. Dubinsky wins a battle at his own line, got it out to center. Vandalise dumps it back in. Rodrigue handles side of the goal as both teams complete changes. Jet Wu in his own zone for Quinn Schmiemann, and again for Jet Wu. Right wing to center. Linus Karlsson tips it in. Rodrigue out of the net. Quick outlet pass near side for Philip Broberg. He'll float it to center for Noah Philp. Philp across the Vancouver line on left wing. Dumps it to the right corner. It caroms off the corner boards to Cole Shepherd. Lost it as he tried to clear, and Schmiemann goes near side for Jet Wu. Up the left wing for Lockhart. Into the Oilers zone. Connor Lockhart cuts to the middle. Fired a quick snapshot right on target, and Olivier Rodrigue makes the save. 7:02 left in the third. The Oilers with a couple of goals here to go up again 4-2. It was Linus Karlsson first for the Canucks, tying the game. But the Oilers are back in front. Back with more for the Young Stars Classic in Penticton in a moment.
Scale the Skaha Bluffs. Barrel down the twisted trails. Paddle through those serene waters. Penticton has it all and more. Stroll down to the farmer's market. Sample the local bounty and revel in our natural beauty. Penticton, the Mecca of adventure, the place for everyone. Go to visitpenticton.com and plan your trip now.
We're going to do the best we can to change the culture and get to a point where we have a consistent playoff team that can grow into a contender and give us a chance to get to the ultimate goal.
Anderson shoots, it's in!
We just want to be a team that is in your face all night long, playing aggressive and not sitting back.
Lets one go, scores!
Have a great young team that is hungry to win.
Now moves back towards Wilson, scores! Deep center's man, oh my goodness!
We're going to do what it takes to win.
Back at the South Okanagan Events Center where the Edmonton Oilers lead the Vancouver Canucks 4-2 in the final game of the Young Stars Classic. Cole Dubinsky scoring moments ago to extend the Edmonton lead with a pretty backhander, and although both of these teams will be pleased with their performance this weekend, if the Oilers can hold on to this league and head home 3-0, I'm sure they'll be very happy with themselves.
Yeah, I would think management from both sides would be pleased to be able to see players, whether they've been in pro or maybe right out of junior, what they can do.
Shot from Chase Waters, ripped high and wide past the glove side of Olivier Rodrigue in the Edmonton crease. As Klimovich tips it into the Oilers zone, has to double back to center, and then dumps it in behind the net. Waters on the forecheck, finishes his check on Kielb as the Oilers transition. Hamblin hit hard by Klimovich at the benches. And Tristan Nielsen gathers on the right wing. Nielsen driving wide into the Oilers zone. Backhand pass in front. It went through the crease out the far side. Nielsen gets it again. Carries to the top of the point. Shovels it near side. Was upended in a battle with Kielb. And the Oilers get it out to center ice. Jet Wu from his own line. Right wing for Nielsen. Deflects it below the goal line. Kesselring back to it. Hounded by Gatcomb on the forecheck as Justin Gill holds into the right point. Now the puck is cleared to center and down the ice by Angaris as Seelovs came out of the net to handle and had a little bit of trouble with it. But
yeah, he looked up just before the puck got to his stick. That went off the heel of it. It didn't go any farther into danger, but that was pretty close.
Got to keep your eyes on the ball, or in this case, the puck. As Dory back at his own line, lifts it out to center. Just under 5.5 left in the third. Oilers up 4-2. As the puck is fired in on Rodrigue from center, and now Kesselring sends ahead for Kambeitz. He'll tip it deep into the Vancouver zone. Pace feels to be slowing in this game here with about 5 minutes left.
Well, and you talked about it earlier that it's 3 games and not a lot of time. And again, like not everybody's played all 3, but most of them have. And it tends to wind down a bit here, or it seems that way. But they did come out. It was a solid pace right off the hop of this game. And it's been a physical game, too. That's taxing.
Canuck Liepert, right point in the Oilers zone. Can't hold in. Upended Petrov. As Philp carries right wing into the Vancouver zone with a hard shot, blocked by Vandalese to the corner. Philp and Oman will fight for the puck down low. Vandalese in there too. It's sent free to the left point for Darian Kielb. Kielb lifts it high off the glass in behind the net again. Comes to Philp, and it in front. What a save by Seelovs on a grade A chance in front, and now we get a penalty. As Matvei Petrov can't believe he wasn't able to tuck that home. Hooking the signal here, and I believe the guilty party is Noah Philp. So the Canucks will go to the power play with 4:19 left in the third, trailing by 2.
Well, quick play by Chason behind the net to give it to Philp. Philp gets caught for the hook there on Canuck Liepert, but it was Chason reversing the play, and you've got Seelovs going one way. That pass comes back the other. That leaves things open as far as the Canucks goal is concerned. And it was a good play by Chason to start it and Philp to get it to the front of the net, but Philp with the stick in there, and Canucks will get the chance here with the man advantage.
Canucks power play, 0 for 3 in the game today, 1 for 11 thus far at the Young Stars Classic. As they win the faceoff of the Oilers zone, and they're going to pull the goaltender, so Seelovs goes to the bench immediately. It'll be 6-on-4 for the Canucks with just over 4 minutes left, trailing the Oilers 4-2. Tristan Nielsen, right wing, to the line for Nychuk. Back to Nielsen. Again to Nychuk. Tees up a drive. It was tipped wide by Gill in front of the goal. Klimovich behind the net. To Nielsen again, right wing hash marks. Carries back to the point, floats it to Nychuk. Left circle, Carlson. Back to Nychuk, right side Nielsen, low one-timer through the crease and out the far side, and Linus Carlson recovers it, but turns it over to Hamblin. He'll poke it down the ice, foot race back to it. Chase Waters will beat Hamblin to the puck and leaves for Linus Carlson in his own end. 1:10 left in the Vancouver power play, 3.5 left in the third period. The Oilers lead 4-2, and it's 6-on-4 for the Canucks with Artur Seelovs on the bench in favor of the extra attacker. Nielsen across the Oiler line. Knocked down in a battle with Angaris. Canucks faithful in the building shouting for a penalty, but play is allowed to continue. And Arshdeep Bains leaves in his own end. Or Quinn Schmiemann. Schmiemann drops for Linus Carlson at his own line. Right side for Danila Klimovich. Dumps it in behind the net. Bains on the forecheck, taken to the corner by Maximus Wanner. Comes back to the right side for Klimovich. Right circle. Klimovich centering pass. Oman missed it in front. Here's Reed Schaefer with a chance for the empty net, fired it over the goal as he did gain the center ice red line of it. Now here come the Canucks in transition. Baines, right wing, into the Oilers zone, try to drop pass for Klimovich. It was broken up and then deflected out of the zone by Angaras, who dumps it all the way down. Icing's waved off, still 10 seconds left in the Oiler penalty kill. And the Canucks will once again try to bring it up ice. Baines carries to center. Phillips out of the box. It's 6-on-5 for Vancouver with 2:15 remaining in the third period, and the Oilers up 4-2. Battle in the corner. Doug Free to the right point for Quinn Schmiemann. Schmiemann floats it back to Arshdeep Baines. Top of the near circle. Again to Schmiemann at the line. Back to Baines into the slot for Waters. Had a couple of Oilers to contend with. Couldn't get the shot away. And it's cleared out to center. Bourgault, left wing of the red line. Pokes it ahead for Hamblin. He's being hounded by Regish. Can't get it to the goal. Schmiemann out to center for Linus Karlsson, who fires it in around the end boards behind the Oiler net. Warner back in the corner. Taken to the boards by Waters. Maximus Warner doing a great job tying the puck up. 3 Canucks in there. They can't get it free as valuable seconds continue to tick off the clock. It was Bourgault that came away with it. Lost it to Schmiemann on the half wall. Schmiemann behind the net for Waters. Fighting for it down low. Warner right on top of him. Puck is turned over. Bourgault shoots for the empty net and scores from inside his own blue line. And the Oilers extend their lead to 3. It's 5-2 with 1:16 left in this one.
Amazing effort by Warner, keeping that puck tied up in his own end. He made a strong hit in the corner. Eventually he gets to Xavier Bourgault and he fires it right into the middle of the net from well inside his own end. And Bourgault gets the goal, but Warner with the effort in his own zone, with tying it up, not letting Vancouver get control, delivering a big hit, all of those things. It was a great effort and perfect shot by Bourgault.
Seelov's back into the net now as the Oilers ice the puck with 1:09 left in this third period.
Yeah, Xavier Bourgault, he had as long a season as he possibly could last year, going all the way to the Memorial Cup, playing with Shawinigan, Quebec Major Junior League. They won the league championship, and Memorial Cup got pushed back a little bit last year, so it was near the end of June by the time he was done. He was 4th in playoff scoring with 22 points. And Bourgault had a great season last year, his last year in junior.
7 points in 4 games at the Memorial Cup, too, so producing at the most important time of the year. As this Young Stars Classic starts to draw to a close, and we talked about it earlier, Cam, but things will pick up for both of these teams. They both have preseason games this coming Sunday. The Oilers will face the Jets. The Canucks a split squad with the Calgary Flames.
So one in Vancouver, one in Calgary? Okay.
Absolutely. Big collision at center. Wow. And things are about to kick off here as I think it was Kielb stepped up on Lockhart. And Nemesnikov into the defense of his teammate. Kielb and Nemesnikov trying to get at each other over the linesman in front of the Oiler bench.
Well, Nemesnikov, for an undersized player, there was no hesitation to get in there against Darian Kielb.
As Kielb and Nemesnikov will both hit the showers a little bit earlier than the rest of their teammates.
Yeah, they'll be done a little quick. Well, Darian Kielb had a busy season last year, too. He started in U Sports with Dalhousie and played in the ECHL and with 2 different American League teams. Yeah, Nemesnikov was right in there. The linesman was in a real tough spot.
As Nemesnikov took exception to the hit on Schmiemann, and that's what kicked that all off. The other thing we should mention while we're talking about hockey season coming quickly is we're just over 3 weeks away from the season opener between these two clubs, the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, Wednesday, October 12th.
Looking forward to that. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the preseason, of course, but once you get to the real thing, it's just that anticipation of the game, the feel in the rink, whether you're at home or on the road, there's something about it. And everybody starts off 0-0. The optimism, especially in Canadian markets, it's always really high, and it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun.
Anything can happen.
Yep.
Until you drop the puck for the first game.
That's right.
Perpetual optimism this time of year. As we'll play 4-on-4 here for the last 21 seconds. Coincidental penalties assessed after that skirmish in front of the Oiler bench. Jet Wu fires it in on Rodri. Kesselring clears. Slow roller won't be heavy enough for icing. Jet Wu back to it in his own zone. Michael Regish at center, hit by Dory at the red line as the game comes to an end. And the Edmonton Oilers complete this Young Stars Classic, a perfect 3-0. Offensive contributions from throughout their lineup for a Monday afternoon victory over the Vancouver Canucks by a final score of 5-2.
Found a way in the third period to push through, and Canucks club, they battled hard. Some great net minding from Seelovs. Edmonton with a really skilled goal by Cole Dubinsky. Maybe a lucky one when Warner's shot hit a stick and Seelovs didn't find it. But an entertaining game, an entertaining weekend of hockey with the Oilers, the Canucks, the Flames, and the Jets here. Great crowds at the South Okanagan Events Center and gracious hosts here in Penticton.
Perfect way to start the hockey season, isn't it? To spend a few days here in the beautiful South Okanagan. Some high-level hockey on show here inside the SOEC over the last few days. And now, as these young men make their way off the ice, they can turn their focus, many of them, to going to NHL training camp.
Yeah, and then make the impression here, get yourself to the NHL training camp and see what happens from there. If you're a player without a contract, you're just trying to find a contract. So there's reasons for everyone to be playing at their best, whatever that may be. And we saw a lot of it from all four of these teams. An outstanding event.
Another great weekend here in Penticton as the Oilers finish with a 5-2 win over the Vancouver Canucks. For Cam Moon, I'm Brendan Batchelor. For our entire production staff, thanks for tuning in to our broadcasts over the last few days. We're looking forward to being back next year. But for this final game, it's the Oilers 5 and the Canucks 2. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye from Penticton.